There's no honor among thieves in the first place. He put hard times on Dusty Rhodes and his family. Hard times are when the textile workers around this country are out of work and got 4 or 5 kids and can't pay their wages, can't buy their food. Hard times.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Woo! I tore them all down, and I came here for one reason: to attack and keep coming.
I did this for the Rock.
You will rest in peace.
I asked you 1,000,000 times to join the NWO, or you would be born alive.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
Bang, bang. And what's it gonna do when Hulkamania run wild on you?
And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so.
Yeah! Fire! I won't ride in nothing but limousines, and I won't make love to nothing but the best looking women in the world.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
You will know that your ass is mine.
Bang, bang.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. You got a championship belt? And I don't.
That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
When Ric Flair's in town, showtime. Woo!
Sweet. My belly's just a little big, my honey's just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
Beat me if you can survive, if I let you.
Orderly!
Woo! It is Rolex time.
Spoke to Raven.
You just made the list!
Who's you beat, brother?
Did you dig that, sucker? I am the game!
The whole show.
If I can be serious for a minute.
You son of a bitch! Brock Lesnar! Damn!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. Oh, you didn't know?
I mean, you're the Donald Trump of wrestling. You make Steven Spielberg look like a guy running 8mm films in a garage someplace.
Will you stop?
You don't want to recognize my belt, huh? You don't recognize my belt. I think you're a liar. I think you're a flat out, straight up, lying, crying bitch.
All right. There we go. A little Static X to start off with there. Hope y'all enjoyed that. What is going on, everybody? It is fucking Wednesday night. We are the Dirt Sheet Dudes. Appreciate y'all joining us in this wonderful Wednesday evening. See Antox popping in the chat. Got Sean in the chat. Bobby in the chat. Welcome, 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 everybody. And, yeah, there we go. I am Boxman. What is going on, everybody? Smark, how are you?
I am well. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it definitely is going to be. We've got AEW All Out to get into. We've got AEW Dynamite to get into. We've got Raw to get into. My God, we've got a ton of shit to get into. Plus, there's a little bit of news. I did save some for Friday. Of course, I always do. So we'll get into all that. And tell me if the mic's a little hot, a little loud, or anything's going on low or whatever. But got kind of a new little thing going on here with the microphone. So hopefully it's better. All right. Well, there you go. Smart. Glad you're doing good. Glad everybody out here looks like they're doing pretty good in the chat room. And, shit, I guess we can go ahead and knock out plugs, get this shit going. Let me do this real quick. Let me slide this over here.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. All right. I want you guys to check out the High Marks. That's Cheeseman, that's Mojo, and that's Gee Whiz. Definitely want to check those guys out. Metal Mitt Network. Mitt with 2 T's, and that's all one word. And you're going to go to mixer.com/Metal Mitt Network. And, of course, Bobby Anthem and Bobby Blades. They are the Inhuman Experience. They are on Apple Podcasts, all the usual podcast platforms. And like I said, they got their hands in a bunch of other podcasts, too. And, of course, Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. They can be found on all the usual podcast platforms. And on Sundays on Blog Talk. Definitely want to keep up with them. Like I said, I was on their little Jeopardy thing. I fucking killed it. Anyway. And, of course, shout out to Stephen Milan. 2 L's in Milan. Letterboxd.com/Stephen Milan. Over 7,300 films reviewed. Maniac. I gotta tell you. And, of course, subscribe, rate, and review to every podcast I just mentioned. And, of course, ours. You can get us on Spreaker. You can find us on Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, and anywhere else you probably can find podcasts. Go for it, Smack.
All right, well, as you know, Labor Day has just passed, which means summer is finally fucking over, which means it's time for fall, which can only mean a couple of things. It means it's time for pumpkin spice, for flannels, and for Planet Raconteur. That is the Planet Raconteur podcast with Bobby and with Papa Dave Sincere and Yuck Nasty, who, despite being a Packers fan, I'm told is a really great guy. Anyways, be sure to check out all 11 episodes in their entirety or listen to your favorite excerpts, short stories, clips, anything you want, they got you covered. Check them out.
There you go. Nobody better. Nice work on that one, Smart. There we go. I can drop that music now. I can pause that music now. I can slide the chat back over now. There we go. There we go. And yes, guys, Anthony is still taking a little break. And that's really all we know. So that's all I'm going to say. So not going to dig into it. Not going to. That's all I know. That's all we know, and that's all. That's it. But yes,
board of directors are telling us right now.
Yes. But Anthony is good. He is not. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with him. He's not sick. There's nothing at all. Those of you worried, don't. He's just fine. And on that note, I guess we can. I guess we go ahead and get into wrestling. Is that what we do now? We talk wrestling, right?
Regrettably so. We haven't found a better format to discuss.
Oh, all right. Well, here we go.
Ding, ding.
Oh, Apollo said it's time.
Yes.
Yes, he did. Ding, a ding. So there we go. So let's go ahead and start getting into this shit. I guess we should start off with, let's start off with the pay-per-view. AEW's All Out pay-per-view that happened Saturday night. There's a lot to get into there. We will spend a little bit of time on a few things here. Now, quick question. Did you see the pre-show? I didn't see the pre-show.
Kind of, actually. I didn't see the entire thing, just because I started a little bit late, so I had to kind of forego the last pre-show match. But I did watch everything up to that point. There was a couple of cool little, for the Battle Royal that they did, the Casino Battle Royal, they did kind of like how they used to do back in the day for the Royal Rumble, where they would do like a 5-minute block of just each individual character cutting their promo and telling you why they're going to win, how they're going to win, what it means for them to win, that kind of a thing. It was really cool. I enjoyed it.
Very nice. Yeah, I did not get to check that out. I checked out the pay-per-view the next day, but I did not watch the pre-show on that. But it wasn't bad. Don't worry, Sean. We will get to that. I promise you. That will be. We're going to spend some time on that one too.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Not gonna really. I'm gonna try not to go out of order here. I'll just mention the two matches since I didn't see them. The two pre-show matches looks like it was Joey Janela versus Serpentico and Private Party versus Dark Order, which was the John Silver and Alex Reynolds match, which we talked about last Wednesday, I believe we did the predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at CBS Sports. The grades for that match are not great. They grade their matches on this website.
I did not see the Dark Order Private Party match. I did see the Janela Serpentico match. I thought it was all right.
Well,
Like, I mean, it wasn't, 5-star in the Tokyo Dome, but it was good. I mean, it was a pre-show match. You tamper your expectations.
Yeah, I mean, Joey Janela.
Which we will also get into later. I believe.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. Definitely. We've got a lot to get into tonight, actually, believe it or not. So we'll definitely get into everything. We should definitely have some time to do all that. Let's see. Then let's start off with the actual pay-per-view, which was the first match.
Which, based on the messages that you have sent me before the show, I can tell that we don't necessarily agree on.
I really thought this match was a pile of shit, dude.
Okay, we definitely don't agree on.
I thought everything looked like it was. I mean, Jesus Christ! Did Paula Abdul choreograph this match? It was done so slow. Even from the first hit with the goddamn picture frame, it just. It was like slow-mo, and then she hit her, and she was like, "Oh no, it hurts!" Oh, it was like a Monty Python skit, man. I'm sorry. The whole match, I did not enjoy this. I obviously you did. Please let me hear some of your thoughts. Maybe you'll change my mind. I doubt it, but maybe
you won't, because I will not fight for this with any manner of conviction. But you can't throw the Paula Abdul thing out there, because now the entire time you were talking, I was just picturing Big Swole dancing with MC Scat. That being said, I like my favorite part. Like, it was what it was. It was supposed to be a comedy match. Like, if you didn't find it funny, that's fine. But I like the only part that I really enjoyed was there was the part with the needle, where Britt Baker pulls out the needle. She's about to stab Big Swole with it, and Big Swole ends up reversing it and stabbing her. Well, what made me laugh about it was Rebel/Reba was standing there the entire time when Baker was about to stab Swole. She was perfectly fine with it, but then as soon as Swole stabbed Britt Baker, she just kept screaming out like, "You stabbed her! You stabbed her! Oh God!" Like, she was definitely the MVP of that whole segment, because she just full on fucking shrieking in horror like it was the most disturbing thing she's ever seen.
Yeah,
made me laugh.
Yeah, I did hear that. I did hear that. That part. Look, it was pretty fucking bad. And the needle, I hate fucking needles, dude. No.
There's a needle. There was a drill.
Yeah, the drill I didn't get. That is not a dental drill. That was a fucking. I mean, it looked like someone had been putting a ring together with that bad boy. I mean, that was a nice little cordless drill, but it had the light on it too. That's an expensive one. Looked like it might have been a DeWalt. Not sure, but that didn't make sense. And I just hate needle spots, dude. I don't like them. I hate needles. So the spots alone kind of trip me out a little bit.
There's people that can't watch getting blood being drawn.
Oh no! And if they got to take blood from me, I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Let me.
I'll sit there and watch. The only thing that freaks me out is like when they have to cauterize wounds and shit. You could smell your burning flesh. That I'm not down with. I can look down, and just watch myself bleeding all over the place. It just doesn't bother me for some reason.
Well, let me embarrass myself for a second here. When I was in high school, I cut my hand on a gate. Took 17 stitches right there on that scar going across here. I know it's on my hand, hard to see. I don't even know if I can. There it is. You can see the scar on there.
Into your palm.
Yeah. It goes right into it. And again, I know you guys can't see, but it was the palm of my hand, basically pretty much on the lifeline. I split my hand wide open. And they took me, and obviously, they got to give you Novocaine when they give you, or whatever that shit is, the local anesthetic when they do the stitches. Well, they broke out that needle, and I freaked out a little bit. It took a cop to hold my hand.
Oof.
To get me to do it. The cop was like, you said just hold. I'm like, I don't care. I hate needles. Oh man, and it was going in the cut was awful, dude. It was deep.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I cut it on a chain link fence.
I had to, when I got my tonsils taken out as a child, I was about 11 or so. I forget for what reason, but they ended up having to give me a shot. And for some reason, they were just having a real bit of a time that day finding the vein in my arm. So I ended up having to take a shot 4 times maybe, because they would try it once or twice and it wouldn't work, and then they would try it at a different spot of my arm and they still didn't work. So it became a real ordeal.
Yeah, no, fuck that. No. You missed the first time, you had your chance. No, you're not coming back with more needle pricks. No.
Yeah, it's just there was a repetition of it that it's because it's all right, one time, it's it hurts for a second, it's over. But then it's you keep fucking up. It's I can't. No, I'm not going to sit here all day while you figure out how to do your job. This is already not very reassuring if you can't get this basic first step done. Yeah. And I'm trusting you to put me under. This isn't great.
No, and I did let them do that to me once. It was when I was trying to figure out what these fucking cluster headaches were. Mm-hmm. And I drank a Monster Energy drink on the way because I didn't know they were going to be taking blood. And they couldn't find my vein because the caffeine and plus those drinks dehydrate you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot. So that's why you sweat and you drink a shitload of water afterwards. So they had to do it 7-8 times to me. I didn't give a fuck that day because I needed to figure out what the fuck these headaches were and if I was having brain aneurysms every fucking night because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But they took 5 people to get blood out of me, and at that point I was I don't even care. I don't care. I hadn't slept in a month anyway. I mean, I was oblivious to what was going on pretty much. But anyway,
yes.
The needle spot, again, that's probably why I'm not so into it. But I really was not crazy about the whole thing. It just, like I said, looked like the whole thing was in slow motion. I don't know if it was Britt Baker just being back. I don't know if it was Big Swole still being... I don't know a lot about Big Swole. I don't know how long she's been in the business. I don't know how long she's been wrestling, so I don't want to blame her. But I just didn't like it.
That's fair. Right. I mean, like I said, I thought it was fun, but it wasn't it was something that I was super committed to defending its honor.
All right. I mean, look, if you want to, you can die on that hill. It's fine with me. But I'm not even really that committed to even stubbing my toe on that hill. Okay.
Just kind of pass on by that hill and move on to the next match.
All right. We can do that. All right.
Gently by.
All right. That's really not a hill anyway. It's kind of landfill. Anyway, Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. We had the Young Bucks kind of going with their new mean streak. If you guys remember, what was it, 2-3 months ago? I said the last thing that I fucking wanted to see was a goddamn Young Bucks heel turn. And what are they giving me? A fucking Young Bucks heel turn. I mean, do they not listen? Good God. Awful.
And that's one of the things you have to complain about for a couple of weeks, because after about 2 or 3 months of me complaining about SCU being on the show every week, they stopped, or at least backed off a little bit.
Yeah, they did. But listen, I hate to say this was a usual Young Bucks match, but they got their shit in. It's pretty much just a Young Bucks match, man. I mean,
well, it was like I told you, and I do kind of mean this. At the time when I was watching it, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good match because I liked the flippy doos. But then the longer the show went on, the less I enjoyed this match, because I was like, what fucking purpose does this serve? There is no reason why you couldn't have had this on an episode of Dynamite. You don't need to fill out every card with, every card doesn't have to be X amount of matches. You could devote 3 hours, 4 hours, however long you want to run it, to the course of the feuds that you actually did kind of flesh out. You do have matches for it. You don't have to feel obligated. I know they want to give everybody the most that they can give, and I guess there's still a thought process of, if it being an all elite pay-per-view, that people are still paying to see the elite, I guess. But didn't really seem to serve that much of a purpose, honestly.
No, and they're one of the. I've never seen two guys that try to act like heels that still wrestle like baby faces. Yes, I have seen it, but not as much as these guys. They still want to get the crowd to pop, even though they're supposed to be heels. Very, very strange. I'm not saying I hated the match, but I've said before, I feel every Young Bucks match is just a carbon copy of the last Young Bucks match, and the next one will be a carbon copy of this match. That's just the way I feel. I'm sorry. I know everyone thinks they're fucking, they're great, they're cool, they're young. Well, they're both losing their hair and not as great as you think they are. How's that? Smark, what did you think?
I mean, there you go. That's a pretty good way of putting it, I guess. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the actual match itself. The match itself, on its own, reviewing it in a vacuum, it was a good match. Like, there were some good spots in there. I liked it. By and large, I like both teams. I don't really enjoy Luchasaurus always coming out there and being like, well, actually, I went to Harvard. Like, I don't give a fuck. But other than that, like, I like Jungle Boy, I like the Young Bucks, I like what they're doing. I do enjoy how they are trying to kind of develop and push and make Jungle Boy into a star. I think that's going to work out well for them down the road. But like I said, on its own, it was a good match. But just as a whole, I don't really think it served that much of a purpose.
Yeah. I can't say I disagree with any of that. And again, I'm not saying the match was bad. It just was what it was. And Antox, I see what you just said there. Excuse me. People have gotten too comfortable with WWE's subpar 2-hour pay-per-views. I'll tell you what, after about 3 hours and 15 minutes into this pay-per-view, I was begging for a shitty 2.5-hour WWE pay-per-view. It kind of felt like a fucking chore watching this pay-per-view to me, honestly. It really did.
And I mean, to that point, yeah, we have kind of gotten spoiled by the WWE pay-per-views being done by like 9:30. But adding length to it doesn't automatically make it a good show.
Right.
Like, I don't think, for example, like those Wrestle Kingdom shows, they're not good shows because they're 8 hours long. They're good shows because the last 3 or 4 matches or so are really fucking good. I mean, it becomes a whole big event, but the fact that it's 8 hours long, if you make a AEW pay-per-view 4 hours long, 5 hours long, whatever, those WrestleManias that last for like 8 hours, like, it's not good because of the length. It's good because of this match, that match, the actual match quality. And the match quality, if it's on a pay-per-view, usually it's a good match in part because there's a good build and a good feud going into it, and there's a satisfying result, being able to see it play out and ultimately climax or move to the next chapter.
Yeah, this was just, okay, here it is. Have fun. Okay. And now the Young Bucks are kicking fucking Alex Marvez and, super kicking Alex Marvez. Great. We get heels. Really great. Okay. Now, this is where we get to unpack some shit.
Oh boy, yes.
Oh, yes. We had the Casino Battle Royale. Oh, wow. I'll go ahead and say it right now. The Joker card, we know they do these in Hearts, Clubs, Diamonds, and Spades, and there is a Joker, so we got a surprise. Matt Sydal, formerly Evan Bourne, was a surprise, and boy, we did get a surprise. He almost broke his fucking neck.
Yes. It was at this point that I realized that being a wrestling fan has turned me into an awful person. Because this poor guy came out there and he almost like paralyzed himself, and I was sitting there just cackling. I felt bad, but it was just funny because it was this whole big spectacle of like, it's building up to this surprise entrant. Oh, who can it be? And then he comes out and is like, oh man, we haven't seen Matt Sydal in a long time. Isn't this cool? Isn't this awesome? And I'm like, yeah, I like Matt Sydal. This will just be fun. And then just all this pomp and circumstance and the pyro and all this. And he comes out and just immediately fucking eats shit on this shooting star.
Wow, like, man. Yeah, he just, and God, thank God for fucking, I think it was Tony who was like, "Boy, he must have slipped on on some perspiration up there." And I'm like, "Attaboy, Tony, cover for him."
I mean, apparently, and you would know, but I mean, they do their shows in Florida, and it was apparently one of the hottest nights, like on record or for that season. So there's a lot of heat and humidity and shit.
Well, I'm sure they're all sweating their ass off out there. I mean, Jesus, when tonight when Jericho and Hager were cutting their promo after the match, dude, they were fucking ugh.
Mm-hmm.
My God, they were fucking dripping with sweat. So yeah, I mean, and Florida's it's humid, and especially, I'm not sure how close to the ocean that is. That is close to the ocean, isn't it? That's right near the ocean, that Daly's place, isn't it?
I would imagine. I mean, you would probably know better than I. It's like the Jacksonville area.
Well, the Jacksonville area there's probably close. They're probably close to it. I think they are. If I remember correctly, I think they are, because I think they could actually go kind of close to the beach from their place. But I'm sure it's fucking hot. At least you got a little ocean breeze out there in Florida, though. But it's still hot, and it's always humid. It's always humid in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
And I mean, it is what it is as far as this whole thing goes, because it's like he will bounce back from this.
Oh yeah.
Like it's not like a Shockmaster thing where he's fucking done forever. It was just a couple of people had a good laugh, and then you had people that are online Twitter being wagging their fingers, like, "Oh, he could have hurt himself. He could have been paralyzed. Could have died. Why are you laughing?" It's like, because we know he's okay.
Yeah.
Like if he would have just sat there laying, and the match would have been over, they would have pushed him off. Nobody would have been I can't say nobody, but the majority of people wouldn't have been posting these fucking memes and reaction things and, having a time about it.
Yeah, and he's having Antox just said, he's having a good time with it. He being Matt Sydal, he was fine with it. Now, there was a lot of controversy, believe it or not, coming out of this pay-per-view. There was the Sydal thing, there was the Hardy thing, which we'll get into next. And JR once again kind of opened his mouth. We'll get into that.
Boy, I cannot wait.
Oh my God, fans lost their fucking minds once again. But anyway, that was one thing in this match. Brian Cage putting Darby Allin in a body bag with thumbtacks, and then he didn't throw him, he chucked him, dude.
He sure did.
I mean, dude, look, I know Darby,
because they were saying that he was injured.
Yeah, look,
we don't know the severity of it. And I was like, well, I mean, he probably did the best he could to kind of protect himself. But I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, if you're Cage or if you're taking that move and you're Darby, how the fuck do you protect yourself in that situation?
Well, one of the worst parts of that was watching Darby slip himself into the body bag while Brian Cage was trying to do it. Mm-hmm. He's literally wiggling himself into it, and I'm like, this is not going to go well. And you know what, man? I wouldn't doubt if he fucked up his shoulder, because he basically rolled off his shoulder when Cage threw him. And dude, you're not looking. You don't know when to fucking. You can brace, but it ain't the same as watching when you're hitting the fucking ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I listen. I like Darby Allin. I like the character. I think the guy is fucking definitely talented. But man, he's going to have to listen to somebody eventually. And some of these crazy fucking stunts he's doing, he's going to have to back off. They're going to have to be done not every pay-per-view, definitely not every Dynamite. It's going to have to be like 1 or 2 pay-per-views a year, because this guy's going to get fucking hurt so bad, and he's going to ruin his career, and it's going to be cut short. I hate to say that, but his career is going to be cut short, and we're all going to fucking lose out on a pretty talented guy.
Yeah, but I would say, though, I think maybe it's kind of building up goodwill on the front end. So then once he starts getting a little bit older and he can't do that anymore, he has enough kind of goodwill built up that people are just fans of his, are just happy to see him in general, and they don't really need him to be doing that kind of stuff. Kind of where Jeff Hardy is now, where honestly he's not that great of a wrestler anymore, but he still has his fan base.
Yeah. You know what? I could go with that, but I don't know, man. Yeah, listen, Jeff Hardy was doing some crazy shit, but nothing like what I think Darby Allin's doing some pretty crazy shit out there. But I don't know. I just I hope he's okay, and I hope he starts to rethink a little of what he's doing. I just want to see the guy longer. I really do. I just want to see him grow and get better. Not get better. I want to see him grow. I don't want to see him hurt. That's all. That's all. I don't want to see the guy out of the ring for 6-8 months.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he has a promising career. He could definitely be like a cornerstone that they could build around. He's got like a unique look. He's got the fans behind him. He has everything that you would want out of somebody. So hopefully he can kind of stay healthy. And, you know, he's still very young, so kind of develop into whatever, you know, turning the corner looks like for him, where he's not necessarily being as dangerous or as risky. Yeah. Kind of developing a style where he's a little bit safer.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I wish the guy well in everything. Just want him to think about a few things is all I want. All right.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Like, that's a much bigger kind of issue that we could talk about at a later date. But, like,
right.
The whole idea of, like, as far as I'm concerned, we all kind of know by now what happens when you do some of the shit that he does and some of the shit that other people do with, like, you know, the apron spots and landing on your head and this, that, and third. But, like, you know, everybody's seen where that will lead to, and everybody knows what will happen. And, like, you know, if they still want to do the spots, more power to them. Like, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I'm also not going to be the kind of person that wags my finger. It's like, don't ever fucking do that. But, like, hey, you know, you want to do it, do it. You know what the risks are. It's your body.
Yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, it is. It's their body, their risk. They know the risk they're taking. But I don't know, man. Sometimes there was no reason for that.
Yeah.
This isn't some blood feud that's looking to fucking get blown off in a fucking battle royal match.
Right. It wasn't a blow off, but I mean, it is a continuation of a feud. It wasn't just a random spot. And I mean, plus, like you said, there's no reason, but kind of there is, because I mean, we're talking about it. We're not talking about anything else that has happened in that battle royal so far.
Well, there was the other thing that I can't stand in this match, which was snakes.
Right.
Eddie Kingston's obviously afraid of snakes too. Listen, I'm going to kind of give you now. Lance Archer did win this, which I believe I called.
You did.
You said Cage, right?
No, I said Starks.
Starks, yes, you did. All right, so yeah, Archer did win this. I thought it was the only logical outcome for this match. But the match, dude, they've got it. First of all, they've gone WWE with the camera angles. They're awful. Right. They are awful. They're atrocious. I'm going to puke one day watching this show. During this match, the camera angles were every 3 seconds. Angle. Oh my God, stop. Just let me see one thing going on. Get the furthest back camera so I can see everything going on in the ring. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. The camera angles were horrible. There was a lot of waiting around for moves in this match. Didn't hate the match. Thought it was a clusterfuck of a match. But there were some cool things going on in the match. We had Jake Roberts out there, like I said, with the snakes. We got Seidel. We got the Darby Allin spot. I don't know what else we can really go over in this match.
I did like how towards the end there you had the members of the stable that Kingston is with. After they'd gotten eliminated, they came to try to help him because it was him and Archer as the last two.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I'm kind of glad that he had mentioned it during his promo Wednesday, and I had saw it, and or today, I guess, be more appropriate. The end of the match, Kingston rolled under the bottom rope before he got eliminated, so he did not go over the top rope.
Yeah,
he did go up the rope. They lifted him up, threw him off, or whatever. But he did never officially went over the top rope, and he didn't mention this tonight. So I'm curious if they're actually going to play with this or not.
Well, he did mention it, like you just said. He said, "I was never eliminated from the Casino Battle Royal, look up the rules, and gave us a little winky wink. So that was obviously they're going to do something with it. I don't know what. I mean, the match is over. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we've seen this storyline before.
In the future, just kind of a throwaway on a Dynamite or whatever. You just throw him and Moxley out there.
Maybe. I mean, they give everybody else a title shot. Why the hell not? Yeah. What the hell? Who knows? But Archer did take this one. I was pretty goddamn good. I mean, I got to tell you, I do like Lance Archer, but he did not look good in this match. By the end of the match, he was barely getting his leg in the air. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like, he is a bigger guy.
Yeah.
He can't necessarily work a kind of long match like that. But I forget which position he came in at. I don't know if he was like the last group. Well, obviously the Joker is the last one, but you know what I'm talking about, like the last group of wrestlers or not. I forget what exactly card set that he came in under, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. This is a long kind of match.
Yeah, it was. But again, not a bad match. I was happy with the outcome. I enjoy being correct. And I get nothing more on that match, but I know we're going to have a little bit on this match. This was a huge controversy. Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match. This match was going great. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. And then I see a scissor lift. I'm like, well, I know where this is going. I see tables. Oh, shit. Guevara then sort of spears Matt Hardy off of the scissor lift. And Matt Hardy's head bounces off the concrete. I don't think I'm being hyperbolic or exaggerating there, am I?
No, he hit the table. But unfortunately, he hit the table with the part of his body that can absorb falling on the ground.
Yeah, his back hit the table.
His head bounced clear off the concrete.
Matt was clearly unconscious after this move.
Yes.
Clearly.
This whole thing was very weird because I was looking while it was going on, and I was under the impression that it was live, but then I looked up at the top right hand corner and I didn't see a live graphic, because usually when they're running live they have a little the little thing that just says live up there. So I was a little bit thrown off because I was watching it and I was like, this has to be live, right? Or like they wouldn't record this like this, you know what I mean? Like they would edit around this because it was real uncomfortable, but I wasn't seeing a live thing, so I had to check it out, look online, and it was live. But yeah, he fell, like you said, his head bounced off the concrete. He was clearly out. And at this point, this is where things started to get kind of weird watching it live, because you had Aubrey Edwards throws up the X, and not through their fault, but through fault of WWE. I've seen the X get thrown up so many times as a work that even now when I see it, I'm like, well, is this real or what? You know. So, and they show the replay. They show his head hit a couple of times, but then even then, I'm kind of trying to be a little naive and be like, well, maybe it just looked worse than it actually was. But the longer it went on, it's like, no, he's seriously fucked up.
Yeah. Matt was out, clearly unconscious. And Aubrey Edwards, she did throw up the X 3 times. It took her to throw up that X. For someone to come out there, the doctor, I guess the trainer, comes out there. Matt Hardy tries to get up. I thought the match was off.
Yeah, I did too. Like you said, but they put themselves in a corner, I guess.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea was that if Hardy lost, he was supposed to retire or leave AEW, I guess. But so then this happens, and then like nobody really knows what to do, because by storyline wise or by rule of the match stipulation, like people are hesitant to end the match and to award it to Sammy, but then it becomes, oh well, what do we do? Obviously, I think the right call would have been to do a no contest there, but it was funny, but it was also not funny. Like you said, Hardy's trying to get up, after a little while, being on the ground and be clearly out. He starts pulling on Sammy, but he's pulling on his trunks because that's all he has to hold on to. But he starts pulling it down, like literally down. Like you start seeing like the back of his trunks come down, and like he's still pulling down. So like Sammy has to like fall down basically so that he doesn't end up pulling his dick out.
I saw that, yeah.
Kind of funny, but at the same time, it's not funny because you realize that he doesn't know where he is right now.
No, he was out on his feet. He was out on his feet, man, just sitting there struggling, trying to get his wits back about him. Now, I guess Tony Khan is saying he's the one that stopped the match. First of all, I do want to say to be tested for a concussion, you got to go to a hospital. There needs to be MRIs, CAT scans. One of those two have to be done. I know you can't just go, okay, follow my finger. Okay, touch your nose. I mean, that is not a fucking... I don't know who restarted this match. I don't know if Matt Hardy was like, I can do it, the last spot. Listen, if the last spot was going out there and doing something wrestling-wise, climbing that fucking scaffold after that head injury was pretty fucking stupid. Now, you could see he was struggling to get up there. You could see Sammy was helping him. Sammy just wanted to get the fucking move over with. Mm-hmm. And I'm with you, though. I would have called this match a no contest. There's no winner. Done. Let's just figure out something to do and stop this match.
Yeah, I guess, and to your point, you're saying you don't know who decided to keep this going. Apparently, their doctor, old Doc Sampson, I believe his name is, said that he asked Matt Hardy if he was fine. He said he was good to go, so he restarted the match, which problematic for any number of reasons. First off, they're inclined to, as they are trained, especially with Matt Hardy, somebody who came up with the whole WWE system, they're inclined that the show must go on no matter what. So, of course, that's what they're going to tell you. If you are a doctor, you are there to look out for their best interest on a case-by-case basis. You're not there to try to find a way that no matter what, you can get this match to keep going. Or at least that shouldn't be what you're doing. Like you said, I don't think you necessarily have to go to the hospital for the concussion protocol or the concussion test, because they do have that, like in the NFL. You can do it on the sidelines, but there's a whole big process to it. They call it an impact test.
Impact test, right. Which takes more than fucking a minute or two.
Yes, okay. There is no way. From what I've seen, just watching football, I'm obviously not a medical expert, but anytime any of the football players, there's a worry that they might be concussed. There's an extensive process. Like they're gone for more than just 2 or 3 plays, which is essentially in the time frame of this match how long Matt was out for. He was out for like about a minute or two.
Yeah.
And then right back. There was no way that you could have possibly carried out any type of thorough or even otherwise any type of investigation as to whether or not he was physically well enough to continue. And the fact that you just immediately, as soon as they get back to doing what they're doing, immediately rush to the finish of the match indicates that he was not in a good enough position to compete anyway. So if you have to hurry up, like I said, if you have to hurry up and rush to get to the end of the spot just so you can say, oh, well, we finished out the match, then clearly he's not fine, and clearly you should have just called this a no contest. Like, I think all reasonable people, which I feel like would be an overwhelming majority in this case, would have understood if you were like, hey, Matt for real fucked himself up, we're going to have to do this match next week or on Dynamite or whatever, Like, I don't feel like people are going to be like, oh, well, I paid for this and I got cheated. I want a refund. I don't know why Johnny Ace is buying the pay-per-view, but be that as it may. Like, I don't see the point in keeping this going. And I really think that the kind of excuse that they gave the first time of it just being like, well, Matt said it was fine, is bullshit. Because it's like, okay, well, somebody needs to be the responsible one and force him if he is not going to take himself out. Because they're, like I said, they're just conditioned. Like, look at the fucking Triple H tore his quad or whatever, and he kept wrestling. You fucking Stone Cold finished out his match with a broken neck. Mm-hmm. Like, that is in their training, basically. Like, you have to have somebody be the responsible one and just be like, no, you're done.
Well, listen, you can say, well, I mean, what are you going to do? Tell a grown man he can't finish a match? Yeah, that's kind of what a doctor's supposed to do. Be like, no, I can't let you finish this match. Yeah. I can't. Not in good conscience. I took a fucking oath not to let you go out and get hurt, and no. Now, luckily, there was no more damage to Matt. Obviously, we saw what most of the damage was. Now, that wasn't even a quarter of the controversy coming out of this match, honestly.
Right.
Tony Khan.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Tony Khan made a complete ass of himself.
Yeah, that's fair.
Complete ass of himself. Oh, Matt Hardy's fine. No concussion. Absolutely no concussion. I don't have the tweets up here. No concussion. He'll be fine. He'll be back. Basically, oh yeah, he'll be back Wednesday. He's good. He's good. Good to go. Good to go. And Reby, not sure how to say that. Reby. By the way, everyone deserves a Reby in their life. Everyone deserves one. You need one. I don't care who it is. You need one. She basically gets on there and is like, oh, hell no. He's at the hospital. He's got a fucking concussion. 1,000% concussion. Yeah, I think anyone that watched knew that just by watching his head bounce off the fucking concrete like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could dig it up, but you can pretty much figure out what it would have looked like. But she posted on her Twitter the kind of text message chain that she had on with him.
I'd have
before he
some of
went
it.
out there. Didn't see it?
I'd have some of it here. Matt Hardy defeated Cena. Had broken rules. It was obvious. Hardy. Hold on here. I'm getting to the tweets right now. Tony Khan said, I spoke to him. Is this what Tony Khan said? Yes. Yeah, I was concerned. Khan said on the post show, I rang the bell to pause the match, and I just lost Smart there for a second, guys. I apologize for the noise in the background. I think I got Smart back already here.
Should be here.
You are. All right. I was just about to read the Tony Khan thing here. I rang the bell to pause the match. Have you ever heard of a match being paused by a bell?
Not a bell. I mean, I've heard of matches being paused. But
no, the doctor coming in, that would pause the match. That was fine. That would have paused the match. When the doctor checked him, he passed him and cleared him on the concussion protocol. What is your concussion protocol? You okay? Yeah. Okay. Protocol. I asked him. No. If your protocol is asking someone if they're okay, a fucking person who has been awake after being knocked out, I think you need a new fucking protocol. He checked with Matt, and then Matt came back after and passed the concussion protocol, and he's doing okay. I spoke with him after the match and talked to him again just now. He went as a precaution to the hospital to get some tests and check out that he's okay. But looks like he is okay, and that's why the doctor cleared him to continue. Okay. You know what? I'm not even done reading the tweet. It was not something that any of us enjoyed. It was a scary moment. But the most important thing is that Matt is okay. We're all really glad about that. The match ended up being restarted with Hardy and Guevara. Obviously, all right, we know all that. That's not the quote anymore. There's something he's doing in this quote. Did you catch it?
Deflecting? Is that what you're thinking that he's doing?
No. He's over communicating. Checked with Matt. Spoke to him. Checked on him. He's okay. You know what? He could have stopped at the first fucking sentence. I rang the bell, paused the match. When the doctor checked him, he passed him and cleared him on the concussion protocol. Matt's doing okay. That's all I would have said. Because he's giving too much here. Again, saying he's not concussed. We saw that shit, dude. We've seen moves that aren't even that fucking bad concuss people. You know, right. I mean, no. We've seen people get kicked in the head accidentally and get concussed. And you don't think a concrete floor stopping your motion and your head bouncing off the ground? Come on, man. This is... Tony Khan made a complete jerk off out of himself throughout this whole thing. You said you were going to grab more of those tweets. I was kind of trying to.
Well, yeah, I will say just to that point, I do agree. The way that they handled this was absolutely terrible, and like just as a matter of like the kind of adage or idiom or however you want to look at it of keeping the same energy. Like if this would have happened in WWE, we'd have been bashing the ever loving shit out of them. it's only fair. Like they handled this incredibly fucking poorly. They just did. That's just how, there's no two ways about it. They shouldn't have gone about it the way that they did. And then in hindsight, what was worse, in my opinion, was not the, hey, in the heat of the moment, we made the wrong decision. We need to be better with looking after the health and safety of a performer and so on and so forth. It was more of just looking for reasons to say why they didn't do the wrong thing. They were looking for justification and not providing or thinking about how other people felt about it. And I think just knowing what we know now about, CTE and all the brain injuries and all of that, everything that's going on in sports outside of wrestling and then even inside of wrestling with the whole, Chris Benoit thing and the shit with the Dynamite Kid and Chris Nowinski and all this, the people that have dealt with extensive head trauma. You can't feel good about watching what it is that happened and watching it continue to play out. And then for him to still just be like, well, no, everything was fine because Matt said it was fine. What the fuck is he going to say?
Yeah.
And what is he going to say in that moment too, when you're sending him a bunch of text messages? He's not going to be like, I really wish I wouldn't have done that. What I was saying, the text messages that I was talking about was, Reby Sky over here posted on her Twitter, let me be absolutely fucking clear. There's nothing entertaining about a concussion. Shame on everyone in that goddamn building. And then she posts her text messages with Matt. And Matt says, love you. I got to hit the football field in just a minute to start our match. Hope you enjoy. To which she replies, and this is before anything happens, I love you. Don't be dumb. And then you can tell, as things progress, what the fuck? You practically cleared that table. What the fuck? Matt, what the goddamn fucking fuck? Which, I mean, not to laugh at that, but you just, it kind of reminded me, it gave me the flashbacks of the whole Beyond the Bat. Watching Foley's wife, watch him just get pelted with the fucking steel chair over and over again. That's the thing, is above everything else, it feels bad to know that, these people have families and shit. And they had to be subjected to that too. If I felt uncomfortable watching it and I have no fucking skin in the race, I don't know him personally and I never will. And I felt bad enough for him and his safety watching that. I can only imagine what his actual family had to have gone through watching that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And a fan replied something. Give me 1 sec here. I've got a shot coming in. Cheers to the chat room, and it's Mark.
Cheers.
A fan replied to that, more at Matt Hardy brand choice than anyone else's in the back. You should stop pointing fingers at every single person and always. Okay, so this jerk off is saying, okay, you see what he's saying. There should be match choice and no one else is back there except the fucking doctor. I like her once again. Reading is fundamental, you absolute asshat. Matt was the number one idiot in this scenario. I'll let you figure out who number 2 was. Also, fuck you. God, I love this woman.
I like that as an aside. By the by, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, anytime anyone ever says, oh, I don't know why Matt's with, I know why Matt's with this woman. I do. She is a fucking keeper. She will cut a motherfucker if you get fucked with. I believe that. Did you? She was there tonight making sure he did his fucking job. Motherfucker, you go out there and you tell them you are not coming back for a while. And he went, I will do as you say, ma'am.
There is no more better of an ally or deadlier of an enemy than a Latina woman. I can tell you that much.
Whew, that woman there, man, I'm telling you, she'll cut a motherfucker for you, bro.
She absolutely will, and she'll cut you if you're not careful. That's the only downside. But hey, you do get the loyalty in addition to the potential danger.
Yeah, absolutely. But keep going. That was just one that caught my eye.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of already did just everything that I really kind of wanted to say about it. Just you can't do that kind of stuff. You got to be better at that. It's one thing if it's his arms fucked up or his legs fucked up or whatever, he hurt his back a little bit, whatever. But when it's specifically related to the head, you have to be way more careful. Oh, because one concussion leads to another. Look at the whole Daniel Bryan situation. You have to be careful with that shit.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I mean, we've seen, and by the way, Reby's last, her tweet at the end, she posted the video of Hardy basically out on his feet pulling down Guevara's pants, trunks. And she put, they needed additional imaging done after his CT. He's still in the hospital, 1,000% concussion. Anyone with eyes could have told you that, though. I can't disagree with her, man. But listen, we obviously heard what Matt said tonight. He's going to get healthy. He's taking a little break. Probably a good idea. Going to take, I'd say he's out for probably 3 or 4 months. Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I cannot really know because I'm kind of filtering it through the lens of like football-related head injuries. And those fuckers are usually trying to be out there within like 2 weeks of that happening. Whereas Matt isn't really in that position where he needs to be out there so he can win a game. You know, he has some time where he actually can afford to be careful and take the necessary time to heal and then to kind of mentally get himself back into a position where he wants to be. Just kind of cool everything down so that the next time he goes out there, everybody isn't on pins and needles.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. We will see how long he's out. I hope. Obviously, he's fine. He was out there tonight. He did, like I said, he gave that promo saying he's going to take a little health break, which is great for him. And yeah, and Reby was there. She wouldn't let him go out there by himself.
The whole fucking crew is going to be out there making sure he doesn't do anything stupid. Senior Benjamin's going to be out there.
Oh yeah, there you go. But I for a company that sits there and says, oh, we're, that always tells you, oh, we should do better. We should be doing better. And they're this progressive company. This was a real bad, as you say, Smark, the optics on this are not good.
Absolutely. And like I said, again, just to kind of reiterate my whole point, it's one thing in the heat of the moment to let this go and be like, well, we just wanted to actually let the match play out. And then, to the next day or whatever, you're like, okay, we shouldn't have done that. We made a mistake. We just acted in the moment. We shouldn't have done that, whatever, But then to go back the next day when time is cleared, been like, no, we did the right thing. See, he's fine. I told you he's fine. Look, he's fine. He sent me a bunch of text messages. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Like, no, he's clearly not fine. You wouldn't be saying it 1,800 times if it was, if he was truly all right.
Right.
But, accidents happen during live television. Like, if you would have just been like, hey, we fucked up and we need to do better, I feel like that would have made me a lot happier with how things played out than to just kind of, full speed in the opposite direction of, no, we were justified doing what we did. Like, that is very much a Vince thing to do and say.
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you're trying to be anti-Vince or the opposite Bizarro, if you're trying to be the whole counter to Vince, you're not doing a good job by doing that.
No, not at all. Not at all on that. So, yeah, again, one of the, we're almost done with the controversy for this whole show. But yeah, I think we pretty much got everything. I got everything I had to say out on that. Mm-hmm. You too? Perfect. We had the Shida versus Thunder Rosa match after this. Uh-oh.
Sorry.
What? Go ahead.
Oh, no, and I coughed. I usually try to mute myself, but it came on before I could stop.
Oh, I thought you were laughing.
No.
I'm like, oh shit! Did he not like this match? This was a good match actually between these two. Certain spots looked a little choreographed. I know it's wrestling and they are choreographed, but overall, I thought this match came off really fucking good. I enjoyed it. I think Shida was the right decision here. I don't really know how you could have had Thunder Rosa take that title. I don't know what they're doing with her, if they're signing her or not, but...
Well, they did announce, I mean, to kind of tie one thing into the other, we'll get to Dynamite in a minute here, but they did announce that she was going to be defending next week on Dynamite her NWA title against Eva Leafs. So they do have some kind of, be it short-term or long-term, I can't tell you, but they do have some kind of plan in place for using her, at least in the moment.
Well... Billy Corgan's making a little extra money on the side. I like it. Keeping his company going. You can't fucking complain about that. So, cool. I did not catch that, but I'm glad you did. So, yeah, I enjoyed this match. It might have gone a little bit too long, in my opinion, but it was also right after that whole thing with Matt Hardy, and I think everybody's adrenaline was sort of running after that because we just saw Matt Hardy's head bounce. We saw the final move. We were all confused a little bit. And then you go into this match and you're like trying to get your head into it. But I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed the match. Thought there was a few little slow, awkward spots in it. But that was it. That was it. Solid match otherwise. What do you got?
I basically kind of just echo what you have to say about it too, because I was watching it as it was going on, and like watching everything go on with Matt was like it very much kind of took me out of it. Because in the time that I should have been spending paying attention and watching it, I was kind of checking like, shit, is he all right? Like, what's going on? Like, what are people saying on Twitter? What is Tony Khan saying? You know, I was seeing those tweets that were coming out from Reby, and I was trying to just see what was going on with that. So I didn't necessarily give it the proper gravitas that it deserved, so to say. But from what I did end up seeing of it, it was a pretty good match. I mean, they're both, we already knew this coming in, but they're both really solid workers. And they did a really good job. I was seeing people say it was like the best AEW's women's match that they've ever seen. I don't know if I could agree with that one, but I will say that it was definitely like in that kind of pantheon of good women's matches that they've done over the past. Because by and large, the Sheeta, especially her reign, she hasn't really had a match that is downright bad. Everything has either been good, really good, or just kind of eh. There's never been anything where it was like, oh, this is fucking terrible. So, I mean, she's been a consistently good performer during her time as champion, and I think this was a continuation of that.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, man. I got nothing more on that. Let's move on. We're actually, we're spending more time on this. I kind of thought we would spend a lot of time on this. It was a lot to unpack in this pay-per-view. And we're still not done with controversy. Dark Order versus Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares, which was Dustin and QT Marshall, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Scorpio Sky and Matt Cardona.
Yeah. The controversy in this match was something JR said, which I got to admit, I heard him say it. I kept going like he didn't say anything wrong. I even chuckled a little bit. I don't know what that makes me. You can call me whatever you want. I don't really care. JR said, did Anna Jay have a wardrobe malfunction? Or is that just wishful thinking in my book? She did, by the way, have a wardrobe malfunction, I believe. But I didn't even, I never... Are you telling me that you're surprised the old Southerner isn't like some progressive millennial? I mean, really? Are we surprised at this?
I think, first off, because I have a lot to say about this.
Okay.
But I think the first thing that kind of struck me was just, it was kind of a very random thing to say at the time, because it didn't seem apropos of what was going on in the ring when I looked up, because as soon as he said that, my head shot up. So, and nothing was going on that would indicate that she did or that she had one.
Right.
It just seemed like a very weird thing to kind of, because like everybody else is kind of talking about the match, and just Jim Ross out of nowhere just comes fucking barreling in with, I think I saw a titty. Ooh, I saw a titty. And it's just like, dude, you realize your mic's on, right? Like, dude, you gotta chill out.
I think he 100% knew his mic was on.
Both of his mics were on, apparently.
I don't think he gave a shit. I don't think JR does not understand what he can and can't say right now, and I don't expect him to. He's an old Southern dude.
He's trying. But also, I mean, it is what it is. Like, JR, throughout his career, has been fired an obscene amount of times at this point. Do you really think that Jim Ross gives a flying fuck if he gets fired again?
I don't think so. I think
like,
he's...
At this point, it's all just relative to him.
Yeah. No, but he did apologize. Well, he sort of apologized.
Yes, I have that.
You what?
I have that because he deleted the tweet, but of course, nothing gets deleted forever on the internet.
No, nothing, and I've got it. But please, I go for it.
Okay. Well, we'll make this a little bit of theater. Didn't mean to offend anyone on the wardrobe malfunction line. Weak attempt at humor. Sorry. Now lighten up. And he has a little tongue sticking out emoji, which again seems like a poor choice, given the context of everything else.
Well, I mean, a titty will make it drool, but man,
okay, it's worth mentioning that he put this out while the pay-per-view was going on. Like, this wasn't the next day. This was like right after the match. He tweeted this out.
Listen, I gotta tell you, I hear people first of all, I hear people calling for his firing, and I'm like, seriously, over this line? They suspended Sammy for 30 days over saying you wanted to rape someone, and this line you want him fired over? This guy, JR? I said, it was disgusting. It was atrocious. It was this. No, not really. We've seen much worse and heard much worse in wrestling.
Right.
We're talking about one of the voices of the Attitude Era here.
Mm-hmm.
Want the Attitude Era back. I want the Attitude Era. I want the blood. I want the guts. But, oh, God, don't say anything like that. Don't do that. Well, I hate to say, I don't find anything really that I'm not offended by what he said. I'm not offended. Like I said, I chuckled and moved on. I didn't even look online. I looked online about an hour and a half later, and I was like, oh, geez. People are pissed.
I knew as soon as it came out of his mouth, I was like, oh, here we fucking go. Because it's because of all these people, and it's been a long-running thing now, that he's under kind of a fine-tooth comb with a lot of these fucking torch mob people that want to run him out. Yeah. So I particularly pay attention to what it is that he's saying. And I knew that as soon as that line left his lips, that there was going to be a shitstorm, and a shitstorm there was. Personally speaking, I don't have a problem with it either.
Mm-hmm.
I see how you can't do that at this point in time, like these days, these times, that kind of thing. I don't think it was overly objectionable. Like, he just basically just kind of, he made a joke, and it was kind of an ill-advised joke. But I also don't see the point in wanting him to lose his job over this. Like, it's one thing if you think that he should be punished. It's another thing, if you think he should, like, formally apologize to her or whatever. Like, I don't see the point in everybody getting offended on her behalf, on Anna Jay's behalf, because it doesn't even seem like, based on what I've seen, that she herself got offended. And I mean, she might have gotten offended and she just didn't want to, like, rock the boat or whatever, so she didn't say anything. That's entirely possible. But at the same time, like, unless it becomes an issue of her being upset about it, I don't really see the point in fucking forming a torch mob over him saying what was essentially amounted to be a dumb joke.
Yeah. Dude, we're losing our sense of humor. I don't know how many times I've said this.
And one thing, and Antax pointed it out here in the chat, because he said that they shouldn't have a 68-year-old guy talking about someone who's like 4 times younger, so on and so forth, that whole thing. That he's 60, he's in his 60s, she's in her 20s. I've seen that a lot. What's really the argument then? Because it's one thing to be like, this is inappropriate across the board. Like, one person should not be talking about their coworker like this on a work-related issue. Because they're both at their jobs, they're both doing their jobs, and this is not how you're supposed to conduct yourself at your place of employment, what have you. I've seen a lot of talk about just him being so much older. So is it like really that what he did was inappropriate, or is this that he's old and like you think he's unfuckable, so he shouldn't be trying to hit on women? Because that's what it's coming off as. I've seen a lot of people be like, oh, he's old and she's young, he shouldn't be talking about this young lady like that. Blah, blah, blah. If it's unprofessional, it's unprofessional, regardless of what the age is. Like, right. If he was fucking 30, if he was Wade Barrett, like if Wade Barrett on NXT was like, boy, I'll tell you, I would really like to put it in Rhea Ripley. Like, that was the worst English accent of all time. I will admit that. But I mean, unprofessional is unprofessional is unprofessional. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of people bringing up this whole age thing. Why does the age matter? Like, it's either what he did was wrong or what he did wasn't wrong, period.
Right. Exactly. But, yeah, and unfortunately, that one little comment kind of took over the whole match. The Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and the Natural Nightmares actually won that match. The match itself was good. Colt Cabana was kind of in there. And basically, Colt Cabana was set up by Brodie Lee, and Colt Cabana went in, tried to do something fancy, and Dustin rolled him up and finished the match. And Colt Cabana got kind of beat up for it by Brodie Lee. He's screaming, "I set you up!" Brodie character is coming off well, man. I do like it. I do enjoy it.
Right. Which I would say that's what offended me more than anything about this match, is the idea that after you had the whole fucking Brodie Lee squashing Cody, that you end up having him lose in the match that also involves fucking QT Marshall. Like, I get that Cabana was the one that ate the pin and it wasn't Brodie, and they were setting up for something bigger, you know, as we saw tonight.
Right.
But still, at the same time, I don't think that you should ever, under any circumstance, have Brodie Lee lose to QT Marshall, even if there's a bunch of degrees of separation involved. It just seemed like, did they really need to win that match?
No, they really didn't. But yeah. I don't know. And yeah, you're right. They did continue the kind of punishment of Colt Cabana tonight by not even letting him out there to celebrate. So I don't know, but definitely, you know, like I said, it wasn't a bad match, and then it just ended in a sudden roll up. So whatever.
Right.
I think we're on. It is what it is. Now the next match was pretty damn good. We still have like 3 matches left, dude. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know, we're almost an hour and a half.
You know, and I wanted to, and that I know this goes against what we were trying to do and what you were just setting up. But another thing that people are bitching about Jim Ross about is like that he doesn't do enough to get people over. That he talks shit about people, like talks shit about the wrestlers. I was watching in '97. He said that this person, and I'll reveal this person in a minute. He said this person is still very green, and this person has never been a technical masterpiece, and I don't think they ever will be. He said this about Mark Henry in 1999 or 1998, I think it was. Do you have any idea how much fucking money they were spending on Mark Henry at that time? Like, this is fresh off the heels of that Olympic thing. So they gave him that big money, long-term contract. Like, it's not just him not knowing who X person in an independent Fed is. Like, this is just what he does. And the fact that he doesn't always know moves, like, I would love to see some of these people. Like, I'm so glad that this fucking Twitter and all the social media and shit wasn't around back in the day, because I would love to just read fucking tweets of people being like, "Oh, well, all Bobby Heenan does is joke around. He doesn't call any of the moves. He doesn't try to get anything over. He's a fucking shitty announcer." Like, I would love to see those motherfuckers, because you know there would have been fucking out in abundance if it was the same thing going on now as it was, you know, back then.
Oh, absolutely, man. It would be horrible. It would be horrible. And I mean, I you know, just leave Jim Ross alone, everybody. Just leave him the fuck alone. let Jim be Jim and leave him alone.
Yeah, he's old. I mean, if you want to harp on age, yeah, fine. He is old. He's old, and his fucking wife died. Like, you know, maybe you just let him be a bit of a dick sometimes.
He's old. His wife passed away. He got fired for something Ric Flair did from WWE.
Mm-hmm. And which half the speech was him talking about how he was surprised that his wife ended up marrying him because he was such an ugly fucking prick.
Oh my God. He has to deal with Conrad.
That's another thing. That should actually be like his main, like, get out of jail free card.
Right.
Anybody that accuses him of anything should just have to be in a room with Conrad for like 5 hours and then be like, all right, so he does a weekly podcast with this guy. You forgive him? Huh?
Yeah, I forgive him. I forgive the guy. I forgive JR. I'm Team JR.
I am too, if only for how upset it makes everybody else. Some of these younger people that are just like, oh, he's the fucking worst. Like, you haven't heard the fucking worst, friend.
No, like I said, man, we're just fucking losing our sense of humor in this fucking. I mean, you get. I know he's not a comic, but God damn it, he's an old horny Southern guy. Leave him alone.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dumb joke. Just leave it be. Like, let him apologize, and maybe if he gets suspended for a week or two or whatever, but fine. But fucking firing the guy, really.
Don't suspend the guy. I'm glad he was fucking back tonight. I'm glad they didn't do shit about that goddamn thing. Stop calling for people to be fired and suspended and shit like that. Just because you work at a job that no one's ever going to fucking hear about and no one cares about enough. If people didn't make a big deal of this shit, it would just go the fuck away. It would just go the fuck away. No one would have said a word if someone didn't fucking have to harp on that. And I'm sure it was someone in their mom's basement with a fucking can of Mountain Dew freshly opened and a bag of Cheetos with a bag of Funyuns on the side. I love Funyuns. Don't get me wrong. I love Funyuns. Anyway, I'm sure that's who it was. It was just that one guy, and suddenly everyone's like, yeah, suspend him. Yeah, fire him.
Yep. Like I said, if she really got upset about it, that's one thing. But you don't fucking be upset on somebody else's behalf. Don't force controversy if there isn't any.
Yeah, all these fucking white knights out there, yeah, this will get me laid.
Because and this is a whole separate issue, but there was this whole big outcry about how it's kind of sexist and fucked up that they still use the term knockouts on Impact. And people kept complaining. And then eventually the fucking knockouts themselves would be like, hey, maybe, I don't know if this ever kind of crossed your mind, but maybe people thinking that we're sexy isn't such a big deal to us. Maybe the idea that we can also be attractive and good at our jobs is kind of flattering.
Yeah, I don't know when it became wrong to find women still beautiful and sexy. And I don't know when that became wrong, but...
Which, just real quick here, a direct quote from Rosemary. The roster has said many times how knockouts makes us feel like badasses. Knockouts come in all shapes and sizes, and we are all badasses and beautiful. It is why I want to train. So please stop telling us how we should be insulted when we already feel empowered.
Yeah, again, not everyone needs a white knight sticking up for them. Let people make up their own mind. And if they had a problem with it, you don't think they would have fucking changed it?
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have by now. TNA Impact has had no problem just putting the brakes on shit and changing it. You really think that they wouldn't have done it? I do.
Especially this regime. Maybe the Dixie Carter regime, but the Don Callis regime, he knows what he's doing. He's not a total fucking idiot.
No, not at all. But anyway. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, as we were saying, let's move on to the AEW Tag Team Championship match. This was Kenny Omega and Adam Page versus FTR. Lot going on in this match. Obviously, I can't sit here and try to go move for move. A lot going on in this match. Great story being told between the two of them. I will say, I'm not the biggest FTR fan, but in this match, on this pay-per-view, in this match, I thought they were very, very good and kind of showed that they're not the same team that left WWE. I enjoyed this match. I really did. I thought it was a great back and forth the whole time. Like I said, I believe that they told a great story between the two teams with, FTR kind of being all on the same page the whole time and Omega and Page not being on the same. God damn it, too many pages in there. Not being on the same page. I didn't even realize what I was doing there. Sorry.
Not being a cohesive unit.
There you go. Not being a cohesive unit. But obviously we know that it looks like Omega is starting to do this little turn that we all spoke about this a few months ago, that Omega was supposed to have this huge heel run within 2 years of AEW. So looks like we're starting to get that. If you watch tonight, I did not see that interview tonight with Omega. I did see Page's interview, and I thought it was hilarious because he's sitting there and he would get serious and then he would get all emotional, like I know I'm just supposed to be a dude. It's, just like blood and flesh and organs, but man, I got feelings and pretty cool though. He was just drunk, and I fucking loved it. He was playing it off perfect, man. But I didn't see the Omega one. What anything that we can tie into this, or was it not real, or did you miss it too?
The Omega one was basically him saying that he kind of put a lot of pressure on himself to be the top singles guy, be the ace of the company. And then, like, when, he ended up losing Jericho and stuff, and when that ended up not manifesting, he kind of felt, he was kind of lost for a minute, and then he kind of discovered that perhaps it was his purpose all along to be in the tag team with Omega, to be a tag team champion, and kind of lead the division moving forward and next steps, the progression of the tag team division, this whole thing. But now that that's over, he's kind of thinking that it's time to be the Omega that so many people were expecting him to be. So kind of hinting at him being a little bit more of what he was in, like, say, New Japan.
So we're going to have 50-minute matches now?
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, it works out better at least for him, because I mean, like, I kind of, and you had it with Kurt Angle in WWE too. Like, he got over with that kind of character, but just the idea of him being this, like, straight-laced guy that's just a big old fan of chocolate milk. Like, I don't see that character having legs as much as, say, what he was doing in New Japan with him, the whole cleaner thing, and him being a bad guy and kind of like an 80s movie type of a character. Like, that whole thing, I feel like that's got way more of a shelf life than him just being essentially Canadian, where he's polite and happy to be there and good sportsman and all that. I know he is Canadian, but...
Well, that's how they do it there, eh? I'm sorry. But anyway, like I said, I thought it was a good match, told a good story. What else you got on that match, man?
I echoed the same thing. I think that they kind of, maybe not unintentionally, or maybe they didn't shoot themselves in the foot, but the unfortunate thing is, following the whole match between Hangman and the Bucks, Hangman and Kenny Omega and the Bucks at Revolution, that tag match, like, there was such a strong expectation to live up to that they almost started off in a hole. And I don't think it was nearly as good, but at the same time, for what it was still a good match. Yeah,
definitely was, man. I can't disagree with any of that. Oh God, we got 2 matches left and we're done with this. There was a lot of matches on this card.
There
was, like I said, there was actually just a lot to unpack. And we've pretty much gone through most of AEW Dynamite. We'll get into a couple more quick things, and then we'll jump into Raw and kind of go from there. And it's funny, you mentioned Wade Barrett. I actually have something to play by him that if we have time, we'll do it. If not, then we'll knock it out Friday. But I think we'll have time. Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in a Mimosa Mayhem match. I thought this was a fun match. I believe we all knew it was going to happen. I think we pretty much guessed it. I think both of us agreed on this. So it was going to be Orange Cassidy winning it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go. This was a pretty good match. Jericho did what he was supposed to do in this match. He put over Orange Cassidy. They're trying to make this guy a star. And I don't think they're going to need a lot of help to do it. Jericho is a good rub no matter what. So, and obviously you saw it. I mean, Orange Cassidy came out there tonight and had a good match. Wasn't a gimmick match. Wasn't a crazy, stupid match. He went out there and had a match tonight. And this, though, I thought was a fun match between these two, which is what it was supposed to be. Jericho looks like he's having the best time of his life right now. I really got to say that, man.
Absolutely.
He is having a great time, and he looks like he actually enjoys working with Orange Cassidy. I think he's actually having a really good time doing it, but he just looks like he's just having a fucking blast. I mean, he's not even giving a shit how he looks. He's not, obviously, he's skipping the gym a few days. He's living the rock and roll life, and I don't know, man. If I can retire and be like Jericho, I would love it, but I mean, I ain't never going to get there, but Jericho is fucking just amazing, and Orange Cassidy I thought was amazing in this match. Like I said, he did win the match. He hit him with a Superman punch when Jericho was on the ropes. Jericho ended up in the drink, whatever that shit was. It certainly wasn't mimosa. It was fucking looked like Tang to me.
Something like that, yeah.
By the way, I fucking love Tang. I ain't shitting on Tang.
I don't know if I've ever had Tang.
And by the way, I will not shit on Sunny Delight either. Sunny D. No. I won't do that either. I like both of those. They kill my stomach, but I will drink them if they're in the house, and I will fucking take the pain.
There you go.
Okay, please let me hear your thoughts on this match, since I just kind of been talking.
No worries. Yeah, I think most of us kind of thought as soon as he made the match and like he explained what the concept of the match was, that this match was basically created just so that he could take the bump that he took at the end of the match, of just going, straight up into the giant pool of, like you said, whatever the fuck that was. But yeah, and what Jericho brought up that was interesting, and I think it did end up helping the match, was that he said specifically when they were planning out the match that they wanted to make sure that they got over the fact that you could win on pinfall or submission, so that they could actually like alternate between having a actual match and the shenanigans of like, them teetering by the giant pool, vat, or whatever you want to call it, of the orange substance. And I think that definitely helped out the match, because it wasn't just them teasing that the entire time. There was actually a good portion of actual wrestling that happened during that, and that portion of it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. Like, the only real kind of downside was that it was already like 11 o'clock when this shit started. So I was like, geez, how much longer is this going to go on? Because it had already been like 3 hours. But anyways, the match itself, I really enjoyed it. And I think that, the right man won in this case. And I think that was always, like, Jericho was talking about it after it happened on his YouTube show, but that was always kind of the intention. Like, his whole goal starting the feud was that it was basically just his idea of trying to, he called it an experiment of a sort, of trying to get Orange Cassidy over as a legitimate, like, main event caliber star. And he feels, in his opinion, that was a success.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that not everybody could have done it the way Jericho did it. It might have taken longer, but I mean, Jericho's got that status that, like I said, a rub from Jericho is a fucking great thing no matter what. And for Cassidy to get it is a really fucking good thing for him. Gimmick match or not, even with a gimmick match, a lot of people were like, well, it was just a gimmick match that he won. It doesn't matter. Orange Cassidy is a gimmick in himself. Mm-hmm. And the gimmick is that he's a gimmick. You get it? His gimmick is that he is a gimmick. It's kind of the way it is. So that's the whole gimmick about the gimmick of the gimmick. Right. Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. So, yeah. But it was definitely, like you said, the right way to do it. Jericho is the right person to do it. Like I said, you could have picked a couple more people in that company, but I mean, who? What are you going to have? You think Cody's going to go out there and do this kind of job? No. Right. No. You think, Dustin probably would, but again, man, they're not that Jericho. They don't have that that power, I don't know. But there you go on that. What else you got? Or should we move on to the main event?
Well, if you want to keep the lighthearted news flowing,
sure.
Apparently the Sturgis rally that Jericho was at has been linked to over 250,000 coronavirus cases.
May have been linked.
Yeah, okay, may have been.
May. That's a key word in that sentence. May have been.
There's a lot of fucking cases. Like, that is a lot. I didn't bring that up so I could, like, finger wag at Jericho. I just thought it was kind of funny. Because it's like, he's an adult. He's going to do what he wants to do. Everybody's going to do what they want to do. And we unfortunately just kind of have to adapt to that.
See, I was going to blame Smash Mouth personally.
Well, of course.
I mean, let's just take the blame right off Jericho. Whoever stayed for Smash Mouth, I mean, those are obviously the people. They were probably jumping around with no masks on. And, hey, now you're a rock star, just getting their whole, getting their game on. And
I do kind of think that during that Smash Mouth performance, they should have just like kind of had a plane go by and just kind of crop dust like some kind of sterile agent over the crowd, just to make sure that anybody who in 2020 is going to a Smash Mouth concert is not capable of reproducing.
I mean, Fozzy, I get playing at something like that, but Smash Mouth? Smash Mouth? What? All right, listen, hey. It is what it is. I am going to blame Smash Mouth for the coronavirus thing. And it says it may have. And you know what? You can't link it, dude. They can't tell. They can't tell where you got it, when you got it, how long you've had it. They just know you either did or didn't. There's still a lot to learn about this. So, dude, the day after, remember when they said, you know, it takes like, what do they call it? The gestation period is what, 2 weeks, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. It takes a couple weeks to get it. And the day after the Trump rally caused a massive breakout of coronavirus. I'm like, 1 day? You crazy? The news is crazy, man. And again, when I say the news, I mean every single one of them. I don't mean, I'm not pointing fingers at one. I put them all in a fucking hole. They're all fucking for profit. Not one of those, they're all for profit companies. Come on now. They're not fucking sitting there doing non-profit work. They're not, they're all there to make money and get ratings, just like wrestling.
Neither here nor there, but what makes me laugh is like where I'm at, it is such just a strongly, like, by population base, is a strongly conservative place. So, like, even our more, like, conservative, or even our more kind of liberal local news stations are still very heavily catered towards conservatives. So, like, basically, there's, like, it's all spin no matter how you look at it. But it's just around here, like, everything kind of has the same coat. It's just on a different channel.
Yeah, well, prepare for the spin to get even worse on both sides right now.
Oh, for sure.
As we get less and less, I think we're 56 or something days away from election. As it gets into it, it's going to get even worse. And by the way, that's pretty much the only politics you're going to hear on this show from now on, because it's just not worth it anymore to talk politics on this show or current event. I just don't appreciate it. I just don't want to do it. It's just not worth it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a different opinion on some things, which I thought that I really thought that's what made the world go around, is people having different opinions on things. But apparently, it's not that way anymore, and I'm just a piece of shit. But anyway, I appreciate everyone listening to this piece of shit.
I am glad you're finally internalizing everything I've been saying to you.
Well, I usually just pack it all in and wait, and one day I explode. So I'll just put this down in the old fire and see if it starts to burn. But anyway, we got this last match to get into, and I really want to get through this. And once again, we're not going to spend a lot of time on AEW. There's a few things we must mention that happened tonight, and there's not a lot. I mean, Raw was decent, but I don't think we need to spend more than 15-20 minutes on it.
Sounds good.
This match, I really don't need to spend a shitload on this match either. This was Jon Moxley versus MJF. Moxley right now is on another level as far as I'm concerned. He's so far from that fucking wacky Dean bullshit crazy character we were all used to and shitting on. But even I heard a lot of shows doing the same thing. I don't blame Moxley. I don't blame Moxley for it. He's just so far separated from all that shit. He's just on a different level, promo wise. He just, again, here's another guy who just looks like he's having the fucking time of his life going out there. Mm-hmm. So again, I feel like that shows when he goes out there, being able to go out there and do his thing on his kind of his rules. But I thought this match was fucking great. MJF is just fucking, I'm sorry. This kid, I think he's lying about his age. I really think this guy's got to be 40 something and doing something, because he's so, talk about another guy on a different level. And he's not even, he's still what people say green as far as most people are concerned. My God. Great shit. Great story between the two of these guys. And then at the end, you got, once again, Wardlow kind of fucked up. He went to throw the ring to MJF, and he threw it horribly. The ring hit the ground, and it was just a bunch of fucking crazy shit after that. Jon Moxley did win did win that match, retaining the title. But once again, man, few guys that can go out there. I got to tell you, storytelling wise, I think AEW's guys are killing it, and I really think, I honestly, Smart, I need your opinion on this. I really think it's because they can go out there and do their thing, and they're not scripted to do this, to do that. Not everything is overproduced and oversaturated to the point where they have to go out there and basically feel like they're doing choreographed shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where, I mean, WWE every now and then has a great match and tells a great story, but I just feel like it's happening more in AEW with their guys because they can go out there and quote unquote be themselves a little more. So please, after I just ranted for about 3 minutes, please go ahead.
To your point with that, I think I totally agree with that. That it's less micromanaged, I guess would be the proper word for it, proper term. And I think it's just overall the atmosphere is a lot different. Like, it doesn't seem like they're as worried about the idea of just getting fucking chewed out as soon as they're done with their match or their promo. And I feel like it allows them to have more fun and be more creative, and you get a better product as a result, in my opinion. Because, I feel like even when you're talking about how it affects like a match or a promo or just their overall performance, like when you're coming into work and you're hearing or you're getting these emails about how you can't do this, you can't do that off company time, off the clock, and you can't say this or do that during your matches or your promos or whatever. There's so many guidelines and rules and restrictions, sometimes arbitrarily. So it just kind of seeps in to the way that you do your job. Like it would have to seep into how you do your job. And if like the morale is down, you're constantly having to worry about pissing off one person, then like you just can't perform the same that you would be able to perform when you don't have to worry about those kinds of things. But anyways, the match as a whole, real quick before I get into my thoughts on that, did you see at the beginning when Moxley was coming out that like a fan almost ran up to him?
Yeah, I was actually going to get to that after you gave your opinion. A fan did try to jump, not jump. He really looked like he just got really excited and wanted to give him a high five.
I thought it was a kid at first, but apparently it wasn't.
No, he had long hair. It looked like I would say late teens, maybe mid-20s dude. Just wanted to look like he wanted to go over, maybe, pat his back or give him a high five. It's just, listen, man, you got coronavirus around now. You can't do that. They asked you to stay in your little groups. Don't do that. And he got tackled for it.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, if we're going to reprimand the AEW medical staff, we got to give a big thumbs up to their security team. They wasted no time. They intercepted that motherfucker. And of course, in true Moxley fashion, he sees what's happening, looks over, smiles, and then just keeps going on doing what he's doing. Like, he is just unshakable, and I love it about him. He's just like, that happened. Live TV, folks. All right, back to what I'm doing.
Yeah, that was a great little moment. And you can see it. It's on YouTube, actually, because I saw it on Facebook, and then I was turned on YouTube the end of the other day, and it was on there too. So you can definitely find that little thing. But yeah, it was just kind of a little weird thing in the match, and it was right when he came out. Mm-hmm. But the guy just looked like he was a little overexcited and just wanted to touch him on the back or give him or something. I honestly don't think the guy was looking to hurt him. He just fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, I can't. I won't blame him, and I can't blame security because
nope,
you never really know what their intent is 100%.
You know what, man? Unfortunately, security right now is going to be like fucking cops. They're either going to fucking react or they're not, and they're going to get shit whether they do or don't. Catch-22 situation. But I think no one gave this guy shit because I think they all understand with coronavirus. Nobody wants to be touched by fans right now. It's just not the right thing to do. Right. But Smart, I cut you off there. Please go ahead.
No, I agree with that point too. And like you were saying, I can't add too much more to what you're saying about the match as a whole, but I thought it was interesting. You had MJF at one point hit the crossroads during the match. And at one point you had Moxley, because he couldn't do the paradigm shift, was the whole rule and regulation of the match. He ended up hitting a God-style pile driver, which is kind of interesting too, because before all this coronavirus shit happened, he's the New Japan US champion, and he had a brief feud with Minoru Suzuki, who does that as his finish, the God's Pile Driver. So it's interesting that they both kind of, in the heat of battle, pulled out a move based on what, one of their previous nemesis, what they would use as a finisher. So it was an interesting kind of way of storytelling, some callbacks, and allusions to the past. I thought that was kind of cool. I thought it was interesting. I was a little bit disappointed in a way, though. I thought the match was great. I thought it was a really good match, but I was a little bit disappointed in the sense that they built the whole feud around him not being able to use the paradigm shift. They built the whole match around that, and then you had MJF working on one of his arms, so you had him basically being one-armed, and I was really kind of curious as to what he was going to pull out as the move that he could use to beat him without using his regular finishing move. And then they ultimately just kind of did the thing where, the referee got distracted and he hit the paradigm shift anyway. And I mean, it wasn't a huge deal, but I was like, kind of like, I felt a little bit disappointed that, everything was building on what was the move that he was actually going to use, and it just ended up being the move that he always uses anyway. But at the same time, like I said, they spent like a whole month basically building on how dangerous that move is and getting that move over and making it look like a huge deal. So when he hit it, it had an extra emphasis to it, kind of like how back in the day they had the whole thing where Nash couldn't use the jackknife, kind of like that. But like I said, I was a little disappointed that we didn't see like an alternate finishing move come out of this. But as a whole, a little bit of a nitpick, but otherwise I enjoyed the match.
No, I see where you're coming from there, and I get it, but I also, all he said in that promo last Wednesday, the Go Home show, was, "You're forcing me to get creative." He never said he wasn't going to use it. He just said you have to get creative, and he got creative about how he was going to use it, I guess. But not bad, But wow, that was a long review for that show, but there was a lot of controversy to go over. There was a lot of good shit to go over in it. Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of people saying, "Oh, awful pay-per-view, worst pay-per-view from AEW." Listen, I got to admit, the first 3 matches I wasn't fucking crazy about, but the pay-per-view did pick up. I did enjoy the pay-per-view overall. There were times it felt like it was going forever to take till I finished the pay-per-view. This is never going to end. But then there were times I was like, damn, that was fucking really awesome. God, I hate doing these grades and fucking 1 to 10 shits, but
but here we go. I mean, we don't have to.
No, let's not even bother. Decent pay-per-view, not great. Not one of their best pay-per-views, but right up there with their decent ones, I would say.
Yeah, I think that more than anything, like Antox was saying, we got spoiled by the length of WWE pay-per-views. We got spoiled by the quality of some of the other AEW pay-per-views, because some of them have been so good that this one kind of felt a little bit lackluster, that there wasn't that huge, like we were talking about with TakeOver, that huge match that was like, oh man, 5 months from now I got to go back and revisit this match. Like, I don't think they had that match.
Right.
But there also wasn't a match where it was like, I really wish I wouldn't have wasted the last fucking 20 minutes watching this shit. Like, it was very much just kind of in the middle, like you said.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess from there we can go ahead and get into the fallout. A little bit of AEW. We did touch on a lot of it already, thank God. But a couple of things that I do want to talk about is right at the beginning, we've got Schiavone out there. It was Schiavone, right? Yeah. Schiavone was out there, and MJF pulls up in an SUV. Jericho pulls up in an SUV, and they're out there and they're talking and they're telling each other how great they are and, all this and that. And then they walk away from each other after they, you have a great show. No, you have a great show. And then they walk away and they're both like, I like this sort of, I don't know what kind of, I don't know. I know it's called split screen, but it's kind of like a high school movie, when they kind of both pretend to like each other and then they kind of walk away. That's kind of what it's like. Antox is calling it the sitcom intro. All right, I'll go with that. This was a sitcom intro. I'll definitely agree with that. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was pretty hilarious, and I like when they do that little thing where, I don't know. I in my opinion, you know when Jericho has his fingers all over a segment. I think this was one of them.
I agree with that. I like the idea of foreshadowing potentially. They might have something going on between them in the future. Hopefully not too long from now, because I think that'd be a pretty interesting feud. But that would also have to rely on one of them being face potentially, and I don't think that's a good idea to do with either of them so soon.
Yeah, man. Just imagine one of them walks up and is like, "I watched the show back, and you called me a loser."
I genuinely am always surprised that doesn't happen more often. Anytime they acknowledge that they can hear the commentators, It always just makes me pop, because it's like, well, why do you, like, nobody ever watches the product back and realizes that somebody's making faces at them when their back's turned or anything like that. It's just the biggest idiots in the world.
Yeah. If they did that, I would fucking give them so much credit. That's fucking some continuity shit right there, man. I would love if they did that. But I thought that was a great way to start the show. Now, here's another thing that I want to kind of touch on a little bit. Lucha Brothers had a match out there versus Jurassic Express.
Mm-hmm.
And they're already teasing tension between the Eddie Kingston and the Eddie Kingston stable of tag teams splitting up. And why would they split up the Lucha Brothers when there's such a fucking I know there's no crowd, so you can't. Well, there is a crowd in AEW, so I just think it's too early. To do this little angle with all these guys. I like Kingston. He's great on the mic. I like hearing him, some of the things he says, but I just think it's a little too early to start causing dissension between these guys. And I don't know. The match was what it was, but to be honest, that was the main part of that took over the match at the end of it right there.
Right. Yeah, like you said, the match is what the match is, and I figured as soon as Jurassic Express lost on the pay-per-view, I pretty much figured out who was going to win this match, because they're not going to have Jungle Boy lose like back-to-back matches. Doesn't seem that that's how it ends up playing out. Like you said, they've already kind of teased it a little bit before. I don't remember who was on Dark or whatever, but they've already had a little bit of tension between them. And I guess they're going to keep that going and just kind of run with that for a while. I think they're teasing tension amongst the Lucha Brothers probably because their strength is also their detriment, in a sense. That they're both two really talented guys, so that means that they can both actually be credible, viable, believable, solid singles guys. So that's part of the problem, and that's also part of what makes them good. So I don't know if they're actually, I don't know what the future holds, obviously, with that. But I hope that they don't split them up, because I was thinking about it, as they're already starting to kind of promote their 1-year anniversary show. It's really surprising that almost a full year has gone by, and neither Lucha Brothers nor LAX, I know that's not their name, but we're not calling them the other name here, have won the tag team titles.
Just call them.
It's really sort of surprising, because they're like two of the best tag teams in the world, and neither one of them has held the belts.
Just call them PP, man.
Yeah, I just wish they would change it.
No,
it's like the worst tag team name ever.
Well, they really don't call them that anymore. They really don't. They just kind of call them Santana and Ortiz. Santana and Ortiz. I apologize for that. I was thinking, anyway, you know what I did. I was thinking Ortiz.
No Morales character in the Battle Royal?
I guess I wasn't thinking that, but I was thinking Ortiz and said Santana. I don't know. You're lucky I didn't say Santiz. That's what I was about to say. So, I don't know, man. It was just a little odd for that to be going down right there. But I don't know. And yeah, I did hear that Antox, the little, where's your wife, Blade? Well, she's making out with QT Marshall somewhere on AEW Dark. But
it was very interesting, because like you said, he mentioned that. He also mentioned that their little British friend isn't around to help them, which is an homage to the whole Death Triangle thing with Pac that basically had to get dropped because of the coronavirus and all that shit. So a very self-referential promo. And like Antox said, we did mention that when we were reviewing the Battle Royal, that Kingston said that he didn't get properly eliminated.
Correct.
So,
look
I
up,
hope it goes somewhere, but we'll see.
Yeah, look up the rules.
Look up the rules, partner. My feet never touched.
No, you said it. He rolled under the ropes.
He did. I was surprised that they actually brought that up.
I'm
that
glad.
Shit happens like a countless number of times in Royal Rumbles, at least, and like it just never gets brought up.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought that up. I am. All right. I'm going to move on a little bit here.
Sure.
We talked about the Matt Hardy thing a little bit. Matt Hardy did say he was taking a break. We don't need to get into that anymore.
Right.
After that segment, Angelico came on and had a match with Orange Cassidy. I was a big Angelico fan when he was in Lucha Underground. Did some crazy shit. He was really good. What happened?
It hurts. I know.
No.
Because I was a fan of his. I was a fan of Jack Evans, and they're basically just. I mean, they win occasionally on Dark, but for the most part, they're basically just a jobber tag team at this point, and it makes me sad.
Here's what makes me sad. They're in the ring with the guy's gimmick, who's basically is that he doesn't try and he doesn't really, do anything, and he's working 12 times harder than Angelico in the ring. Angelico is just sitting there waiting for moves to get done to him.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't. I don't know. Angelico just. I don't know if he's given up. Maybe him and Nakamura, Nakamura of past had a call or something. But just like I said, I was a huge fan of his over on when he was in Lucha Underground, and I feel like he's gotten a little too big for his britches, or he just doesn't care anymore. But I kind of think the guy sucks right now.
Yeah, it could be any number of things. Like you said, he could have given up, could have gotten an ego, could have been injured. Who knows? It's hard to say. Like, I get that you have to be more professional than that, but I can kind of almost get it if you know that like you're not going to be in a position where you move past the spot where you are now. Like I can almost see the logic and the rationale to just phone shit in. If you're like just wildly unhappy there, you're just like, all right, well, let's just get through this.
Yeah, well, anyway, when you're against the lazy guy and the lazy guy looks like he's doing 12 times more than you might want to fucking check your shit there, Angelico. And I do love
to go back and rewatch this match because I don't know, I didn't perceive his performance in the match in quite the way that you did.
Maybe I was high. I mean, I was, but that usually has nothing to do with nothing. I mean, I'm used to that shit by now. It's been fucking like 30 years. I mean, it's been long enough already. We had, after that match, Santino and Ortiz did attack Orange Cassidy, and the Best Friends came out, and they did basically set up a match for next week, a parking lot brawl we have for next week, guys. So look forward to that. Do we want to even bring up this Kip Sabian segment, Smart?
I mean, we kind of have to. Maybe not the Kip Sabian segment as a whole, because who gives a shit about Kip Sabian? But what came out of the Kip Sabian segment.
Well, we got to get into that part. But first of all, I want to say one thing. Brian Pillman Jr. is what every wrestler should look like now. I want every wrestler to go back to fucking bad haircut, mullet type bad hair. I want it so bad. I think this is what Brian Pillman is, a throwback, and I fucking love the guy. He's got the balls to walk around with that fucking hair. Great, great fucking guy, man. Love that guy. He's going to be he's young and got a great career in front of him too. But obviously we do need to get to the big, Kip Sabian came out there with Penelope Ford, gorgeous girl. And he was out there and going to announce his best man. And they did a bunch of, skits where it was, best comma man, which I knew was, I swear to God, no lie, I knew that was coming up. I really did. But first he had one guy walk out there, and then we had Brian Pillman, with the sweetest fucking mullet you've ever seen in your life. But it wasn't him. And then Music hits. We see a kind of ring of fire looking thing. And it's fucking Miro. It is fucking Rusev coming out there. That little, I don't know, mini crowd went fucking nuts. That was the first time I think I've really heard that crowd go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it's only been a few pay-per-views, a few shows. This is what, their third, fourth show with people. But wow, they sounded like 2,000 people. That's how crazy they were going for this fucking guy. Listen, Smark, we've said it before. He's number one, not just a guy who was beloved by the WWE audience. He's also a good guy to follow on social media, which is important nowadays, whether I give a shit or not. It is important. And people just seem to like the guy. He's a likable guy that people really liked when he was in WWE. And holy shit. I already saw the people, another old WWE guy. Maybe they should just do a pay-per-view with all old WWE guys. Oh, shut the fuck up. They got to work too, man. There's few companies they can go to right now. People calm the fuck down, everybody. Quit shitting on these people. But I don't know and they did put out a thing after this with the AEW logo. Miro is all in.
He's all elite.
And I am very happy to see him there. I think he's going to do very well. Worried about Lana? Little bit. You know what happens when this goes on. I believe she just signed a contract, so we'll see how long that lasts. His wife's at another company. We'll see what happens with that. But otherwise, I think it's going to be cool to see this. And I don't really give a shit if there's a fucking wedding or not. We know how weddings work out in wrestling. But I will say, they did have a cake out there. And I think this was the first time I've ever actually seen the cake get eaten instead of thrown in someone's face.
Right. Yeah, I was waiting on that too, and it just never really happened.
Yeah, they actually ate the fucking cake. Like, holy shit, they ate the fucking cake.
They had their cake and ate it too.
They did, and I don't think I've ever seen the cake get eaten in fucking wrestling before. But I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything else we really need to get into on this show. Moxley cut a great promo on this show, which we already talked about. It doesn't look like his shoulder's too fucked up to me. It looks like he was doing a sell on that shoulder. And again, great sell on that because I think he fooled a lot of people. A lot of people thought his shoulder was separated. And he did the rigs. Did you see him doing the rigs, slapping his shoulder against the turnbuckle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, old Lethal Weapon move. I like that. Okay, I did have something to say after that, Smart. FTR and Tully go in the ring to cut a promo. I don't know why you would have Tully Blanchard there to talk for you and only let him talk for a certain amount of time and then you guys get on the mic. Can you just let him talk and leave it at that?
Mm-hmm.
Let Tully talk. Because you two are the most unintimidating sounding guys ever.
Yeah, it's like the Bizarro version of what they're doing with Archer and Jake. Where it's like, we've kind of identified, we can all kind of admit that Archer isn't the best at promos. But you have Jake carry the promo, and then you have Archer hit the big soundbite that you can use in the video package. He has his catchphrase, he says it, and he looks cool doing it, and everything's great. They're doing the exact opposite of this, where they can't cut promos either, but they're still trying.
Yeah, and you've got Tully. Tully started talking, and dude, I swear to God, you give me Tully talking, I'm going to stop what the fuck I'm doing. If my phone is in my hand, I'm fucking stopping. I'm pausing, I'm putting it down. I want to hear Tully talk. I want to hear Arn fucking talk. Those are the guys I want to hear talk. I don't want to hear FTR. Fuck those rejects once again. That's what FTR stands for.
That's right.
And yes, Weebs, I did a buddy cop movie reference. Leave me alone. We all know Lethal Weapon. Come on. It's been fucking 4 of them, plus a bad TV show. This we can talk about.
Okay.
This we can talk about. Taz joined commentary. We heard Darby Allin's music, and Ricky Starks came out. Kind of dressed as Darby Allin.
Yep.
Except with a better ring gear.
I wish they would stop doing this, actually, because this is the second time that they've did this, and I almost feel like it calls attention to the fact that he just looks a lot better doing it than Darby does.
Well, Darby might need to talk to Scott Steiner about
Yes,
a few things while he's down. Got some downtime. But they're already talking about bringing Darby back, so I guess his injury isn't that bad. And Darby and Ricky Starks, and I gotta say, I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. I shit on Ricky Starks horribly when he was in NWA. I called him fucking 10 pounds of fucking generic in a 5-pound bag. He oozed generic to me. This promo we cut tonight, or whatever it was, whatever you want to call it, this little thing, he killed it, man. I fucking really, I actually saw a lot in him, a lot of his passion and a lot of goodness in him, in this promo. So, hey, listen, I've said before, I've been wrong before, and I will definitely be wrong again. But this guy has proven me wrong of what I thought of him in NWA. I don't know if that's how they wanted him to be in NWA, but
apparently, based on what I was hearing from like Antox and other people, he apparently kind of started getting there in NWA. Like he started kind of turning into that something like that character is now during Power or on Power, however you want to phrase that. But I just, by the time I checked out, he was still just sort of that kind of generic white meat, babyface, plucky, young up-and-comer type guy. And in that role, he was very much generic and just kind of tedious and boring. But I don't know if he just kind of developed over time or now he just has more to sink his teeth into. But like you're talking about people having fun, it looked like he was having the time of his life being out there, and it was very kind of infectious and contagious and enjoyable to watch because it was just, you could tell he was having a great time, and it was a lot of fun to watch as a viewer knowing that.
Yeah, but I literally sat there thinking, this is not the guy I was watching and shitting on in NWA. This is not that guy. Where was this in NWA? Now, I guess he was still, I mean, I don't know how much indies this guy has done or if he's very new and just, you know, got lucky with the NWA thing, but listen, he's starting to turn me around. He's starting to sell me on his fucking character, and that's what a wrestler should do. So, guy's doing his job as far as I'm concerned, and like I said, been wrong before. I'll definitely be wrong again. Hell, I might even be wrong tonight one more time, maybe 2, maybe 3, who knows? But yeah, definitely getting sold on Ricky Starks. Yeah,
I think he's turned the corner.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I'm trying to look around and see what we didn't talk about. I think we kind of talked about everything else, man.
Yeah, I guess they're teasing Jericho being in the tag division now with Swagger, or Hager, rather. Sorry.
Yes, that is one thing we didn't mention. They are doing that. Jericho, I mean, I'm not sure if they teased it. They basically said they're going to be a tag team in, and they are going to eventually want to go for those titles. So I guess they're kind of letting Santana, did it again. Ortiz and Santana. How's that? That's what I need to do from now on. Ortiz and Santana kind of go on their own and do their thing as a tag team. And I don't know. I guess Sammy's out. I guess Sammy got injured, or they're playing off an injury from that thing. But I don't know. Definitely going to be interesting to see, and I guess we'll see more of Jericho and Hager, which Jericho and Jake and Jericho.
I like it. I like their dynamic. I also like that they're actually making it a goal to get better as a tag team and inevitably or eventually win the tag team titles. not just that, they don't have anything going on right now, so they're just going to put the belts on them, like how the WWE would do, where it's just two singles guys and they'll throw them together and they'll give them the belts, and then they won't really care and they'll drop it like 2 weeks later. They're actually making it seem like somebody who has had the success that Jericho had in the company, being a former world champion, actually actively wants to go after and capture the tag team belts. Like, it actually matters and it's important to him, instead of just, wanting to go back to winning the world title again. It makes, this is such a fucking foreign concept, and who'd have thunk it? They're actually trying to make the tag team belts look like they matter.
Whoa.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Whoa. You can't do that.
I know that's the surprising part.
Nah, you're right. They are. They're putting some light on the fact that that's what they want. That is the pinnacle they're looking to get to. And yeah, good shit right there, man. I fucking love that right there. But there, Jake and La Champion, weekdays 5 to 10, only on WKPR radio, although it should be WKRP in Cincinnati. That's right. God, I remember that show. Johnny Fever, if you can't be good, be bad.
I never actually watched that show, but I do remember, I have heard, I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but like the one thing that sticks out is apparently they did like one of those bits that they did was they did like a turkey drop, but they dropped them from like airplanes, and apparently it like hurt a bunch of people, like in the confines of the show at least.
Right. Les Nessman had a contest, and he in all honesty, he thought turkeys flew. That's on YouTube. You can find that little skit, that little scene right there. I have that show. I have every episode of it. It's a really, really good show. Lonnie Anderson is on there, back when she was gorgeous. I'll tell you the truth, I haven't seen her in years. I might still be. But
no, I'll do some digging.
Yeah, I still remember some of the characters from that show. It was one of my favorite shows. Again, I've always said I had a little infatuation for radio and broadcasting, so that might be one reason I'm sitting here today talking to you guys. That was literally one of my favorite TV shows when I was younger. So definitely love that show. Like I said, Johnny Fever, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. But I don't think we have any more on AEW. I think we're AEW. Oh, one more thing I did want to mention, Smart. Kip Sabian is out there plugging his AEW approved Twitch. Doesn't that, and actually right as I'm saying this, Antox is typing it in the chat room. And they're both putting over their Twitch online. And Miro did take a little shot at WWE with the glass ceiling and the imaginary brass ring. And, I do get that they're taking some shots at WWE about this whole thing. And I'll tell you what, that whole thing, I'm looking at the time. Let's get into that on Friday, because there's a lot to unpack there. And WWE has backed off a little bit and relaxed a little bit of those rules that they're doing for the third-party thing. Let's get into that Friday, and we'll unpack that, because we don't really I just don't think we need to get into that tonight. But we'll definitely get into it Friday. I will be here alone with plenty of alcohol.
There you go. Sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, me, my dog, and the fish. So that'll be fun. And let's go ahead and get into a little bit of Raw. Again, I don't really want to go like we just did with these two. Well, like we did with the pay-per-view. I don't want to go match by match. There's a few things on this show. I got to tell you, Raw though was not bad.
Yeah, no, not really.
I actually thought it was a decent show for Raw.
Outcome the qualifiers.
No, it really wasn't the holy shit, when is this going to be over show that we've seen in a while.
I'm glad you said that, because I was watching that too, and I kind of felt the same way, but I didn't know if it was just a matter of I was feeling better, I had more sleep, I was more energized, or I was just having a better day than I normally do when I watch Raw or whatever. So I'm glad that you actually feel the same way about them.
I really never sat here and was like, my God, I should just fast forward to this because it sucks. We had some good fucking things in here. I actually heard a lot of people complaining about the Raw Underground shit, and I thought this was one of the better Raw Undergrounds. With Kevin Owens, you had Aleister Black. Those two were going at it. What's that guy's name? Babatunde. Okay, I was close. Got in there and fucked up both of them. I thought this was a great Raw Underground, and I really went online and people were like, this is getting so bad. I don't get it. Okay. And I saw one guy who didn't get it because Aleister Black laid out a guy with the Black Mass move, the first guy he was fighting. Yeah. And immediately Shane called the match. Well, if they're trying to be like UFC, you know what no one's ever done in UFC? Die in the fucking ring. Yeah, he called the fucking match because that's what you do.
No. Well, I mean, what he should have done was have the doctor check in with him, make sure that he's okay, and then restart it, even though he was clearly knocked out. That
would have been better. But I don't know.
If Shane runs it, it just keeps going. No, he's fine. Restart the match.
Jesus. See Stephanie tweeting with a fucking razor blade in her mouth.
Interesting visual.
Well, you know, Reby had this razor blade in her mouth when she was tweeting. So, you know.
Stephanie doesn't strike me as the type of person that carries a switchblade.
I said razor blade.
Both razor blade, switchblade.
That's my carrot in her high heels. You never know. I can see her packing something somewhere. But anyway, not that way, you perv.
I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if Triple H was into that kind of thing.
I mean,
time to peg the game.
Time to peg the game.
And now we have a show title, so that's one less thing you have to worry about.
Time to peg the game. I kind of wish I didn't hear that. Oh, God. Oh, fuck. I think I'm sweating. Holy shit. Anyway. I don't even know where to go from there. Time to peg the game. Weaves has it, the game. G-A-Y-M-E.
He hits it out the park again. I got to give him credit. That's a good contribution.
God damn, if my name was JR, we'd be getting tweets right now. All right. Oh, shit. My God, I have a fucking tear in my eye. No, maybe that's just, I don't know. No. Oh, God. Anyway, where were we here? Oh, God, speaking of more funny, who just said that in the chat room? That Andrew Yang is going to be on the Chris Van Vliet. Michael Smith said that. Oh, God. Well, look for the next 52 parts of Andrew Yang being on Chris Van Vliet. Yeah, exactly.
Fucking 800-part interviews.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, Van Vliet doesn't do that. But yeah, he...
Mark Henry one was 500 parts.
Oh, I'm laughing so hard that I mixed up people. But anyway.
It happens.
Oh.
Yeah, Raw Underground, like you said, I thought it was fine this week. Like I said, I like them using Raw Underground to actually further feuds. Because it actually gives it, like, it feels like there's actually a purpose for it to be there. Other than just kind of arbitrarily trying to grab ratings. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I like that they use that with the whole Kevin Owens and the Aleister Black feud, that they put that in there. And then the other little stuff that was going on was good, too. Like you said, they had the Babatunde thing, and he was, like Antex was saying, why bother having it be a long thing? The whole idea is to kind of get him over as being a serious ass kicker, and that's what they did.
No, yeah, you get in, you get out. You do. That was it. I saw no problem with it, but like I said, I just saw a lot of people complaining about it, and I just wanted to. I thought it was a better one than usual.
Did you see, since we're covering kind of things that related to Raw, there is a bit of an incident with Jessamine Duke before Raw. She accidentally, I'm going to say accidentally, I don't know what her intentions were, she went and posted a photo of herself on her Instagram that she might not have intended for the general public to see.
Really?
She sure did. Somebody had posted, because it was shortly before Raw, but I guess it was on her Instagram story. I don't follow her on Instagram, but imagine some people do, and they clicked her story, and next thing you know, there's just a picture of her just hanging out with the tits out.
Interesting.
Went on a little field trip. I can go. I'm might have to go ahead and post that in the chat, but yeah, that was interesting. It was funny because it was like I was starting to buy into some potential, like I was feeling like Jesse Ventura because I was starting to get some conspiracy theory type shit going on. Of like that'd be a hell of a way to like get yourself over, to just accidentally leak some shit out of yourself.
Well, I mean, you can see Vince walking up to her. Hey, nice tits, pal. I mean, you know, you can see Vince. You can see Vince doing that. I don't know, man. That I do have the chat room open. Just to let you know. Just I mean, you know, you've seen one, you want to see them all. That's all I'm saying. You've seen one set, you just want to see them all. But pretty much there was kind of there was a few little plots to this show. One was Randy Orton kind of looking to get his payback, and after payback. See how that worked?
Nice.
And the other was Drew was actually kicked out of the building by Adam Pearce and seemed to keep finding excuses to stay in the building. Like he grabbed the wrong phone, forgot this, forgot that, my zipper was down, whatever. That was kind of the main point of the show. So that'll kind of touch on a few little things right there with Raw. But Randy Orton, once again, he's had his bad times. He's had his good times. He's been really boring. He's been really good at times. Just seems like he's enjoying the crowd not being there. And just kind of another MVP of Raw at least the past few months. So, I don't know. At least the last 2 months, I think he's definitely been one of the MVPs of Raw.
Yeah, I liked his promo where he was cutting at the beginning, where it was basically him just telling Keith, like, hey, nothing personal, but the longer we keep having matches, the more likely I am to kick you in the head. I like that, where he's just like, yeah, you know, it's going to happen. It's my thing. That's what I do. I kick motherfuckers in the head. Like, it works for him, definitely. Of him just kind of being that person where it's just kind of cold, calculating, kind of a sociopath, straight up kind of a badass type.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the picture you posted, and she's in boxer shorts, if I'm not mistaken here. That's kind of sexy right there. Just the boxer shorts. And otherwise, decent, good-looking girl, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good-looking girl. Muscular. Very muscular.
A little bit, yeah.
But I like the boxer shorts. I like them. Looks good. But there you go. Saw that picture. There you go. Now I've seen everything. Like I said, you've seen one set. You kind of want to see them all. But again, where were we? Were you Orton? Were we on Orton?
Yeah, we both kind of agreed. He had a good promo Monday. Basically, just kind of one of the better parts of the show.
Yeah, and really, we did not have that many matches on Raw. I got to be honest with you. We had Randy Orton with Keith Lee, defeating Keith Lee on this show, and we had the Mysterio match. That's it. It was really more talking segments, and we had the Street Profits. We did have more matches, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it,
there was actually a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, now that I'm like, wait a minute, that's not right.
Women's handicap match thing, and then you had the
Street Profits.
Profits.
I wanted to mention the Street Profits, man.
Mm-hmm.
Montez Ford, My God, is that guy gonna fucking be the breakout star? I mean, they're sitting there, and after the match, they're talking about the match they're gonna have with Andrade and Garza, and literally, I watched Montez Ford do the vibrator.
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen that since the movie. I believe it was Ghostbusters. Was it Ghostbusters? No, I am sorry, it was not. It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I believe it was. And the guy is fucking amazing, man. He is just absolutely amazing. His facial expressions, his everything he does is just friggin' great. And he's gonna leave old
Dawkins.
He's gonna leave old Dawkins in the dust, man. And he's not gonna mean to do it, and he's not gonna want to do it. But he makes himself one way or another. He finds a way to take over the fucking the screen, man. He really does.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. Like, I kind of feel a little bit bad because watching some of these tag teams, they pretty much have the same problem that Heavy Machinery has, where you just know there is a very clear and very obvious Jannetty on the team. And, like, it's nothing really against Dawkins, because Dawkins is all right, but, like, it's just Montez, they're going to push him to the moon at some point. As big as he is, he's got the height, he can fucking jump out of the fucking arena, basically. That kind of hang time that he gets, so ridiculous. And he's got a good deal of charisma. So, yeah, they are definitely they're going to strap a rocket ship to him as soon as they decide that they're done with that tag team.
Yeah, and they should. And I guess the next thing we need to mention is Cedric Alexander.
Yes.
Turned on his guys, Ricochet and Apollo, and kind of joined the Hurt Business. It wasn't exactly official until a little while later, but right. He went outside the ring and threw Ricochet a few times, and then it was very kind of odd the way it all happened. And then he went in and gave the lumbar check to Cruz, to Apollo. Yeah, to Cruz. Yeah, that was right. And that was it, man. That was it. So now we got Cedric added to the Hurt Business. They even did a little thing for him later. And actually in the match later, the Viking Raiders, Ivar, did a dive out of the fucking ring, and I don't think we're going to see Ivar for a while.
Yep. He voluntarily threw up the red X, or not the red X, but the X.
You don't usually see wrestlers do that.
I watched that 100 times, and that's a slight exaggeration, but I had heard that he got injured before I saw it, because I watched Raw the next day. Full disclosure, I'm sorry that I didn't watch it live. Not really. But I watched it a couple of times, and it didn't look bad, but I mean, it doesn't always have to, you know. Sometimes the worst injuries are the ones that don't look bad. But it looked like he got caught up. He didn't clear the ropes properly. He caught up in the ropes. I did notice that. But I guess it was just the way he landed or whatever. Like, it was like kind of I guess they were saying like a clavicle type of problem. But he was like kind of clutching at his chest. And he threw up the red, or I don't know why I keep calling it red X. He threw up the X. And granted, it was a much different situation because there was multiple men in the match, but they hurry up and got out of that about as quick as they could.
Well, obviously, you're thinking of Red X because this is basically America's Got Talent.
In a way, yes.
In a way, I mean, it's basically what you're watching here. But yeah, I hope. I don't know how long we're gonna not see him, but I think it's gonna be a while. It looked like he might have actually landed weird when he looked like he might have hurt. A clavicle issue. That's like that. That's your collarbone up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's your collarbone. That's a bad. That hurts.
Area and that kind of thing. Yeah.
I know that hurts. I don't. I've never had that happen, thank God. But I know that's a bad one right there. It's something you don't realize you move until you hurt it.
Mm-hmm.
You. That's muscle. You don't even realize it, you know. What else did we have that we need to talk about on here? We had the Peyton Royce, the Billy Kay, where they're still kind of hugging. Whatever. I don't really give a shit about it. Billy Kay basically her facial expression is she's constipated the whole time. I could see her going back to NXT. She needs to be honest with you. You got anything on that, dude? I don't know. Whatever.
Well, we talk about like who the worst wrestler is sometimes, and like I always stood firm to the fact that Nia was worse than she was, but then I started thinking about the fact that like Billy Kay is so bad that I can honestly not tell you whether or not Peyton Royce is a good wrestler or not. I just automatically assume that she's bad because her partner is so bad, which I feel like gives her the edge that she makes other people in her presence look worse. I feel like that gives her the edge of making her just the absolute like worst wrestler they have. But yeah, I don't have too much on this. I didn't care when they were together. I don't care that they're apart. Just move on.
Well, speaking of not having too much, I guess we do need to mention the Riot Squad. There was a handicap match there where the Riot Squad took on Shayna Baszler. Liv Morgan did get the pinfall, which caused Nia Jax to laugh hysterically outside the ring, and Shayna Baszler to be in the ring making excuses, which I know it was a lucky win, but that just shouldn't be happening.
Surprised that it did, honestly.
Me too. And then Retribution did cut in, and we heard Retribution. It was kind of muffled voice. They had the kind of voice scrambler on. Yeah. But they were out to punish WWE for leaving them to a cold, cruel world. And I don't know, man. It was all right. I'm still not that sold on this group, but I'll see what happens. I do want to see who the reveals are. I am not looking forward to it because I know it's going to be disappointing.
Right.
Maybe they can shock me, but I got a feeling they're not going to. What about you?
Yeah, I mean the promo that they did with the whole little voice transmogrifier or whatever it is, like it was all right. Like it didn't do anything to win me over, but it also didn't do anything to make me further dislike them. Like I feel like it's like we talked about, it's an uphill battle. They've lost so much momentum. Like almost from the beginning, they were seeping momentum. Like they've just constantly gotten shit on, and like a lot of their segments just haven't worked. And they've just constantly been in a state of repair and reworking. So I don't know. Like, hopefully it turns out to be decent, but my expectations are low.
Yeah. I agree with all that. And I guess really the last thing we got to get into on Raw is the Mysterio thing.
Mm-hmm.
We had the whole Mysterio family out there. We had Mama Mysterio. We had Dominic, we had Ray, and Aaliyah is his daughter's name, correct?
I think so.
I think Aaliyah is his daughter's name. If I'm wrong on that, the chat room will correct me, and I expect them to. But I think her name is Aaliyah. And Dominic, earlier in the night, this kind of was set up with a little thing where Dominic was out there, and Seth came on. And Murphy came on and challenged Dominic to a street fight. Dominic accepted, even though Ray was trying to talk him out of it. But the match went off, and there were some really good. Once again, Dominic showing that he can go out there and have great matches with anybody right now. And the one move I got to mention, and I'm sure you were going to bring it up, Smark, is where he slid out of the ring on his chest, did a sunset flip through a table to Murphy. And I was just sitting there like, what? And so smooth, it looked like a fucking veteran doing it.
Oh yeah, I like that move just in general because I've seen a couple other people do it, but yeah, he did a really good job executing it.
Really, really came off fucking smooth, man. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And then, you know, at one point he had Murphy had Dominic tied up in the ropes, and then Murphy eventually got tied up in the ropes, and the whole family got to beat him with kendo sticks. Now, I really think Murphy was jumping, taking those hits, and one of them ended up hitting in the mouth because of it.
Yeah, that's rough.
I watched it happen, and it looked like it was a swing from Aaliyah. But he jumped up, it went off his knee, and it hit him in the mouth. You saw his mouth bleeding from it. But I did think this came off very well. Obviously, it got the point across. The family's looking to get, you know, no pun intended, retribution on Murphy and Rollins. So I expect this to happen to Rollins eventually. But this whole thing, did you ever see the movie Airplane, Mark? The original?
Yes, love Airplane.
Do you remember when they all lined up to smack that girl? When she was freaking out? That's what this reminded me of. I don't know why. It was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this.
My favorite part of Airplane, and I've only seen it a couple of times, like probably not doing it justice. But the guy, they're on the plane, and this guy's telling this long-winded story, and you just see a montage of people committing suicide.
Yeah. I know. Yep, I do see that one. One guy blows himself up. Yeah.
The samurai sword.
Yeah, Michael Smith came in a little late. Michael Smith, that is Jessamine Duke.
Yes.
Jessamine Duke from NXT.
Did a nude photo of herself on her Instagram. I'm assuming accidentally because she deleted it later, but nothing stays deleted on the internet.
Well, once again, the boxer shorts are sexy, but I don't know, something about a chicken boxer shorts. I don't know what it is. Just kind of hot.
I will say there's some photos that came out that were not up for permission. She's got some tattoos that she is a way tougher person than I am, because they are right next to a very, very sensitive area. And I don't mean under, I mean alongside of.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, she's a crazy little girl, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy little boxer short girl. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, before we get you pervy. Yeah. But the whole, like I said, that reminds me of that part when they were all lining up. And by the way, that woman did make a little show up in the second one, which is Airplane 2, the sequel.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Imagine.
I've seen all the Naked Gun ones. That's not related, but kind of related.
Love the Naked Gun movies. Well, Leslie Nielsen's in both.
Yeah, essentially the same kind of people.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, I know the Lynch brothers, I believe, were the ones that made the first Airplane.
Right.
I can't remember if they did this. I think they did the second one too, but both those movies, I love both of them. They're fucking great. They are fucking great, both those goddamn movies. If you have not seen those, please seek them out. Seek them out. Every now and then they're on Hulu. They pop up and then they go away quickly. But definitely.
They show them on TV from time to time too.
Yeah, you can do that. But yeah, so this Dominic thing. Whole family. I don't believe I got your thoughts on it, so I'd like to. And that'll be Raw, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I said, I thought it was a good match. Like, Dominic he is just out there just bumping his ass off. Like, they have done such a great job of, like, ingratiating him before the fans and before his coworkers and all of that. Like, he's taken some pretty big bumps, and he's also done some really cool looking moves. I can't wait to see how that all plays out in the future for him. I would actually kind of like, and this is just a very minor nitpick, but I would kind of like him to pick, like, one set of gear, kind of stick with it for a minute. Because it seems like he changes it every week, which I guess is what Ray does, but more or less. But I really like the gear, just the black and blue, like the Sub-Zero looking shit that he had on during, I think it was SummerSlam. I just wish he would stick to that because I think that looks cool. But anyways, neither here nor there. I was seeing people complaining that like the whole family caning him like didn't really work because they were supposed to be faces. But I think that's also kind of bullshit because they've established time and time again at this point that it's a very personal feud. So it seemed like it was very sort of cathartic to have them all come out there and just extract their revenge on him, like you said. Probably at some point they're going to get some revenge on Seth too. So, and looking forward to seeing that. That's one of the better feuds that they have on their show and just kind of in WWE in general at the moment.
Okay, so babyfaces are just supposed to sit there and let people attack their family and not do anything? Is that what they're saying?
That's what they are saying.
Well, they should eat a dick.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
I mean, you just get these people that, oh, these faces, they should be attacked. They should be total fucking idiots. They should always just get jumped from behind and never get any revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wrestling somewhere in someone's mind. No, babyface has to get their comeuppance one way or the other. This is what happens. This is how you blow a feud off. This is how you further a feud. Oh my God.
You always find that one person that just think logically.
Anyway, that was Raw. I got nothing more on Raw, unless you do.
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I think next week they were saying maybe they're going to have Asuka versus Mickie James for the title.
Yeah.
And I'm always excited for more Mickie James, and I mean that in any number of ways.
Yes, I am always excited for some Mickie James myself in many ways. And I mean the excited part in many ways too. But that's pretty much Raw right there. Smark.
Yes.
You had mentioned Wade Barrett.
Indeed I did.
Now, I don't know when this interview was. It's got a date of just, 2 days ago. It's a page called Sporf. SPORF. It's on Facebook. Let me see. I don't even know what they're really about. Looks like they're kind of a little sports thing a little bit. Basically, they're a sports page. And, they got Jericho and all kinds of things about sports on here. But Wade Barrett did a little thing on John Cena beating all of Nexxus at that SummerSlam. It's 3 minutes long. And he's basically doing this. It looks like he's doing a Q&A. And again, I don't know when this is from. It looks like it was recent. Same haircut and everything. I'm going to play it.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
So I knew at that point I was being lied to. I knew it was a nonsense. It was a nonsense reply. I didn't believe it at all, and I don't believe it to this day. I thought it was a terrible idea. I don't think you'll find anybody who will come forward and say, at any level of wrestling, says, yeah, that was the right decision. Yeah, not only did we think we were going to win because it was really the first test of this killer group that we had. It was like, okay, this is the first time we're put to the test against these top WWE superstars. We've been termed rookies the whole time. We can't lose this because we have a ton of heat. We have all this attention. Now is our chance to prove our credibility. We'll win this. And then we were told a week beforehand by one of the agents, I can't remember who, that, yeah, you guys are going to be winning. We're just figuring out all the details. So anyway, a week later, we turn up at SummerSlam, and it's in LA at the Staples Center, huge arena, and we get there, and we get down to the ring, and Edge and Chris Jericho, who are part of the team that we're fighting against, they're already down at the ring, and we all come down there, we're in our suits, and we're looking all smart, and being good boys still, and just go over and say, hey, and they say, hey, guys, we're just trying to figure out how to make you guys look like stars today. And we kind of chuckle about it, and we go off to catering and get some food. And then we come back down later on, and we're pulled to one side, and Arn Anderson says, hey, guys, here's the finish. It's going to be you eliminating him. He's going to eliminate this guy's going to eliminate this one. So it's kind of like, dominoes are falling. This guy's out. And then we get down to the final three, which is myself and Justin Gabriel on the Nexxus side against John Cena. And then we're told, okay, and Cena's going to beat you both and go over. At which point, I kind of thought he was joking just to gauge our reaction. And now I realized, no, he's not joking. This is serious. John's going over. So we bring up, why is John going over? We really need to win this match. And Arn puts his hands up and says, nothing to do with me. You've got to go and speak to Vince about this. So trying to get your hands on Vince during a pay-per-view day or a TV day or anything is tough. So it took about an hour or so for us to track him down and wait outside his office and get to speak to him. We go in there and have a chat with him and say, hey, Vince, here's the situation. We've just been told that John's going over in this match. We think it's a bad idea. We think we need to go over. And Vince looked me in the eye and told me the reason we're doing this is because SummerSlam needs to have a happy ending, which is a different kind of happy ending to the one you're thinking about now. We didn't want that. We wanted one of the kids to go home happy, which, so there's not a lot you can do at that point. We've argued our case. Vince, we need to go over. No, here's what I need. I need this to go over well at the end. I need the kids to be happy. So I knew at that point I was being lied to. I knew it was a nonsense, reply. I didn't believe it at all, and I don't believe it to this day. I thought it was a terrible idea. I don't think you'll find anybody who will come forward and say, at any level of wrestling, says, yeah, that was the right decision that day, but that's what it was, and there was nothing we could do about it. The decision had been made. How they got to that decision, I don't know, but Vince looked me in the eye and told me that was the reason. I don't believe it, but there we go.
All right. Man. Mark Weird Al was not in. He was kind of in the movie. He did the intro. He did the intro song for the movie, and he was kind of in the video intro of the Naked Gun. I believe it was the second one.
Yeah, he was definitely in one of the sequels.
You know what, though? It wasn't. It was Spy Hard.
He couldn't have been, because I've never seen that one, and I definitely saw Weird Al in one of the Naked Gun movies.
You know what? It was the first one. He was on the plane. You're right. And then he did. And
I've never seen Spy Hard.
You're right. And then he did the intro for Spy Hard. So yeah. Anyway, that Wade Barrett clip right there. We've talked about this a few times. Actually, Smark, I don't know that me and you have talked about this ever. About the fact that when John Cena did pick off the Nexxus one by one, number one, it doesn't surprise me at all, Vince's answer. That sounds like a stock answer back then, because everything was about Cena and the kids going home happy. I have zero doubt that Wade Barrett was lying when he said that. I think that sounds exactly like the answer Vince would give to you when you come in and say, I want to change this. Gotta send the kids home happy. Yeah, happy. Smiling. Cena winning. That's what it needs to be. It is pretty bad. It was bad. It was pretty fucking awful. And probably one of the worst decisions they ever made, because it really killed a whole group of guys. And I don't think any of them are left. Not one of them are there. Well, Daniel Bryan. Mm-hmm. I think he's it.
If that was SummerSlam, though, was that at the point where he had already gotten fired and then came back as a good guy?
Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
I think that might have been the SummerSlam he came back as Cena's partner. Yeah, or backup or whatever.
Yeah, so he wasn't even really on the team when they lost. Right.
But he was still one of those originals that came out during that. So I guess I can keep counting him in there. But I mean, he's the only one that's left. But
right.
I do remember that, and I remember, like I said, us. I think this was back during the THT days when we were literally talking about how bad of a decision it was, and I'm glad he agrees with it. I'm glad no one, and I don't think anybody ever saw that as a good decision, but it did kill Nexxus. Killed him so bad when they tried to bring it back as the core, it still didn't work.
Right.
It was just, I mean, Cena laid that group dead in the fucking ground. The whole group. And every character in the group. I'm sorry, go ahead.
They refused to commit to anything. Because I thought the whole idea of Cena being like an unwilling sort of lackey to Barrett was an interesting idea conceptually. But it just, instead of actually doing that and having Cena like potentially explore a darker or badder side of his character, he basically just like tried his best to just disobey Barrett at every corner, and it just became the same old kind of wacky Cena antics.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucked. Like the whole thing sucked. Like it's a shame that they could have really could have gotten some mileage out of the whole Nexxus thing, but they were moving merchandise too, so it wasn't like nobody was behind them. So they just pulled they got out of it as quick as they could. That wasn't the case. They just completely dropped the ball on it. And I hear like this whole on the larger scale of things, every time they say the whole thing that, oh, we're just here to put smiles on people's faces, it just sounds so fucking creepy to me. Mm-hmm. It just sounds very like Disney cultish, where it's like, oh, we're just here to make everybody have fun, have a good time, smiles for all, always smiling, never stop smiling, pal. Like it's so fucking creepy. Like, okay, yeah, you want to make people smile, give them a goddamn good product. Don't just be like, oh, we just decided to, book the good guy to win because good guys should win because happiness. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, Vince? And like, that clip that you just played kind of gave me a good insight as to A, why Arn Anderson isn't there anymore, and B, just like what it's got to be like to be an agent for them, or to be like any kind of executive member when you're trying to explain this shit to the wrestlers, and they're like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, and they're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we're not idiots. You understand this? We are following orders, though. We are doing what Vince tells us to do, and yeah, we understand it doesn't make any fucking sense, but he's paying us.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, man? But and yes, Mark, you know what? We did forget to mention the Retribution promo. They did have a logo that popped up. So Retribution now has a logo.
I was honestly, God, I was thinking about that, but I just didn't mention it because it just didn't seem all that important. But yeah, that does make me laugh. Like we're talking about this whole counterculture, anti-authority, not part of the system. They have their own graphics department, and now they're going to start coming out with like T-shirts and shit.
Well, you got to have merch. That's how you make money. But we did forget to mention that. Thank you very much, Mark. But yeah, I mean, look, we're not going to sit here and beat this thing to death. Matter of fact, we're creeping up on that 3 mark, and we will wrap this up in just a few minutes here. I got a few more things, just a couple more things, and that's really it. Brodie Lee, kind of getting back to a little AEW here, says he is kind of the one that kind of said he wants to get away from the Vince parody thing. He is finally, we all knew it was a Vince parody, but he's in this interview. He did kind of admit it was a parody, and, but then he did it again, and I've got video of it. And this was, I don't remember seeing this on the pay-per-view. I think it was after the pay-per-view, but, he did it to Evil Uno, and here we go.
This is Instagram. Listen, what's your name on Twitch?
Evil Uno. Not any fucking more! Twitch is dead! Everybody's dead! No more Twitch! No more third-party affiliates! You are detrimental to my company!
So, he's still doing it, and everyone's looking at him. You got Stu Grayson over there looking at him, and all the other guys are just like, what the fuck is going on here? But,
they did, even to that point where they were talking about during the pay-per-view, they announced that they were going to be having a wedding, the Kip Sabian segment, and he plugged his Twitch on the pay-per-view, and there was a big old font that shot up that said, "This is fully endorsed by AEW Wrestling."
Yeah, and I mean,
they're still getting their shots in, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we got into that a little bit earlier, and yeah, they are taking their shots, and we will get into that a lot more on Friday. So definitely want to be checking out us for that. Like I said, WWE has laxed their rules a little bit, and we didn't really know much about this because that story just came out that night. We did a lot of we kind of just speculated on what it could mean and everything like that, but basically on Friday night we're just going to basically tell you it. Basically, what they're doing is a lot of wrestlers are just going to have to change it to their real names. I would assume, you know what, we can do this real quick. I would assume a lot of the cameos have already changed to real names instead of wrestler names. Jump on Cameo real quick. I've always got that wrestler thing pulled up. Yeah, Mick Foley. It looks like a few of them. No, not a lot of them have changed their names. Let me see. New Kurt Angle, Nick Gage, still Nick Gage. Not WWE. Christian is still Christian on here. Looks like a lot of them haven't changed their names yet. I mean, I'm sure they will. They probably have a certain amount of time to do it. It might even take a little while to change names.
Well, the edict was supposed to give them until October, I believe, 2nd? But sometime in October.
Right. Oh, well, no. Samuel Shaw is actually Samuel Shaw on here. So he looks like he might have, I don't know if that's his real name or not. Let's see, Mark Henry. He's Mark Henry. But, no, MVP's got his real name on here. It says Hassan MVP Assad.
Interesting.
So I think that's how they're going to be doing it. They're going to do it. But I mean, Bianca Belair does not have Bianca Belair. So it looks like a few of them are changing their names. And again, we'll get into this more as we keep going. Maybe more we'll have some name changes that we can get into on Friday. But really, I don't really think we're creeping up on that 3-hour mark, so I guess we can go ahead and knock this bitch out if you want.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, let's see. It's getting late everywhere. It's 1 o'clock where most people are. It's midnight here, and we'll go ahead and knock this out real quick. Let me get the song going here, and we will hit the plugs one more time to let everybody go. Take that drunken ass home. That's right. You guys want to check out the high marks. That's Cheeseman Mojo, G Wiz. Definitely want to check those guys out. Mixler.com/metal. Mitt, 2 T's in Mitt. Network, 1 word. Definitely check those guys out. And of course, Bobby Anthem, Bobby Blades in Human Experience. Always want to be listening to those guys on the Apple, on the Google, on any platform you find your podcast. And of course, the Unscripted Wrestling Podcast. Find them on all the places that I will and have mentioned for podcasts. And Stephen Milan for sharing the show. Definitely appreciate it. Most definitely. 2 L's in that last name, Milan. Letterboxd, boxd.com/Stephen Milan. And of course, subscribe, rate, review. You can get us on Spreaker. You can find us on Stitcher, iHeart, Spotify, Google, TuneIn, Player FM, YouTube. You can find us there too. And Smart End It.
All right. It is once again time to talk about our friends at the Planet Raconteur Podcast. It is a Planet Raconteur Podcast. You got the Bobby Anthem. You have the Papa Dave Sincere, and you have the Yuck Nasty. I will say, based on Michael Smith's comment from last show, do be careful when you listen to the Planet Raconteur, because it may or may not get you or your loved one pregnant because of the potency of one Bobby Anthem's voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's a risk worth taking, though. I assure you, you will have one hell of a time. Be sure to check out all 11 episodes or standalone excerpts of each individual story. They are uploading them almost daily, so be sure to check them out. You will love it.
There you go. Can't get any better than that. And definitely want to be here Friday night to check us out. We'll be here right after SmackDown. And of course, we will see you then. See ya.
Peace.
One drink to all in all, we're going home. Time to take your drunken ass home. It's all right if you don't know what to do with yourself.